Underworld Ministry. What's going on?
We're back for another week of shenanigans.
Shenanigans. Spooky shenanigans?
Spooky shenanigans.
Always spooky.
What's better than spooky shenanigans? It's
birthday
spooky shenanigans.
Today. Big old 3-8 right here.
After we argued about how old he's going to be this year.
Look, we're not going to get into that right now. But we are going to get into this. Sarah hates that song so much.
I made the mistake of suggesting it once. It's haunting me forever now.
I love that song.
Anyways, shall we get into this week?
We should.
What are we doing this week?
We have a very special guest.
Who is our special guest?
This. So it's my friend Brie, our new friend.
Our new friend.
With paranormal tripping Brie. She's tripping. Hopefully not over invisible ghosts.
Tripped over some headstones.
Tripped something. I don't know.
But let's welcome her.
But we have Amber said woo woo for spooky shenanigans.
Woo!
You want to get into our...
Let's welcome her.
Welcome her. Say it.
Welcome our friend Brie.
There you go. What's going on, Brie? How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
You're not tripping over ghosts or anything, are you? Or
I choke on air and I trip over flat surfaces. So
I do too.
I do too. We're all in the same boat.
It's the ghost tripping us.
I mean, in our line of work, we are in the dark, so tripping over stuff.
Especially when we work with
that's your team name, right? Paranormal Tripping Brie, or
yeah, it's what I do. I go and I showcase and investigate historically haunted hidden gems. Ooh. Bring attention to them and try to get more people to get to know that these locations exist and get them to come visit.
Absolutely.
That's our kind of work.
So tell me about yourself, a little background, where you're from.
Do you have a team?
I do not have, I'm a solo act. So, but I do a lot with my boyfriend, Nick Carboni, who has his own team, Old World Paranormal Society. So you see me a lot with them. I guess that would make me an honorary member. I don't know.
I mean, sometimes you gotta do it by yourself.
But yeah, and we do a lot of stuff together too. We actually have earned the hashtag Team Brick. So nice. As long as we don't turn into Brangelina, I'm okay with it. So.
Yeah, for real. So how do you get into the paranormal? Like, what started it?
I've been dealing with the paranormal since I was 6. That's when I had my very first experience, and I saw a full apparition.
Wow!
I thought it was my mom, and the house I grew up in was a 1-bedroom. Hey, there's Leah and Mike. Hey, I grew up in a 1-bedroom home, and so the bedroom upstairs was mine, and I had twin beds, and we had my mom always kept the bathroom light on because it was a house actually built. It was one of the first houses in the town that I grew up in Groveport, Ohio. So it's all still original, plaster walls, winding staircase, and my mom would leave the bathroom light on so I wouldn't, fall down the stairs.
Right.
And I rolled over and I'm looking and I see what I think is my mom sitting on the edge of the other bed next to me. And this bed is covered with every stuffed animal known to mankind, because that's what everybody gives little girls, right?
Right.
Well, I'm looking and I'm like trying to figure out why my mom is sitting on this other bed, and I'm getting ready to ask her, Mom, is everything okay? And she starts to turn her head, and as she's turning her head, the light comes in from the hallway, and I realize I can see through her face to the 1970s, 60s style dresser behind her. And I was just like, Yeah, don't I just rolled over, pulled the cover over my head. I asked my mom about it in the morning. Hey, Brooke. And she actually pulled a picture out, and it was my great grandmother I had seen. And she
Wow.
had no tie to the house. The last time I saw her, I was a year and a half at her funeral, where ironically, it's one of my first memories. I remember I tripped, go figure, over a flat surface, and I cracked my head on one of the cement pillars holding flowers. So
Wow.
maybe that's where some of my issues come from. I hit my head at an early age. But
Fair.
Yeah.
yeah, so I went so I've been dealing with the paranormal my whole life, seeing, hearing, feeling. But it wasn't until I went through a divorce last year, and my older sons, they both sat me down and they were like, "Mom, you raised us on the paranormal." Like, they grew up watching Ghost Hunters, the original, GA, when Nick Cage was still a part of it.
Right.
You know, Penn State, or not Penn State, Paranormal.
Paranormal State.
Yeah, like I raised them watching Ryan Buell, and Ted Coffee. So,
Katrina.
yeah, Katrina, like they watched all the OGs, and they were like, "Mom, you raised us on this, and it's a huge passion of yours." Hey, Drew. And why don't you go pursue it? You need to go and pursue it. And there's Chris or Boston. Yay.
Hey.
So that's exciting. But so I started going to events, and I actually was going to an event in North Carolina, and I decided that I would make it fun. I actually pulled off to a rest stop, and it was like really heavy on me. I needed to make stops on my way. I had almost a 14-hour drive from Ohio. Why not? And, of course, my first stop was the Mothman. Had to go and rub that shiny hiney. And then I stopped off at Sweet Spring Sanitarium. And, it was Friday. So it was actually the Friday that Project Fear was dropping their sleeping arrangements at Sweet Spring. So I was like, why not go stop? And so I stopped and got to see it. And your phone doesn't even go into SOS when you're out there. Your phone just goes, I don't know what the hell's going on. Yeah. So my GPS stopped working. I'm I'm on the verge of hearing coming from the woods, and I'm praying I'm going the right direction. So, I go to the event, and on my way home, I had some great friends with Spooky Appalachia feeding me locations to go to. I stopped at Albans, got to walk around that, and then I went over to Trans Allegheny and got a couple of really cool pictures of that location. I mean, none of these locations was I able to get into, so they were off the property.
It's still really beautiful to fucking stare
Oh,
at.
yeah. And they're bucket list locations. These are locations that you see on the shows, and you're like, I'm never going to go see them. And here I am seeing them. And it was just like, holy crap. So, thank you, Amber. So it was really exciting. And I covered it. I put it all on Twitter, and everybody on Twitter loved it. And they were like, are you going to do this next weekend? And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to do this, and because one of the things that my kids told me was, you need to be the best mom that you can be. You need to pursue, not just, you need to find yourself. You need to rediscover yourself.
Go and do what you love to.
Yeah, you've been married, you've got kids. Go pursue, go find yourself, go. And I was like, all right. And so as I was doing these trips, and I haven't had a weekend off since, except for when I moved from Ohio to Fort Wayne. So, but even then it wasn't a weekend off because we investigated the house. So that I moved out of. But it's been every weekend I've been highlighting historically haunted locations, the hidden gems. I mean, everybody knows Waverly, they know Tala, they know OSR. Not many people know, Brooke was on here. She's one of my absolute best friends, love her to death. She's the owner of Wildwood Sanitarium. So I'm actually going to be doing stuff with Wildwood this year. Brooke and I are actually doing an event together down in Kentucky in Olive Hill, Kentucky, at the haunted Olive Hill High School in May. So we're going to be headlining an event there. And there's Adam, he's my other para brother. So it's so good to see all my family jumping in. Hey guys.
Hey,
But-
Brooke, you want to be friends?
But yeah, I mean, and it took off from there. It's been amazing. I now have a show that I do remotely paranormal. You saw was that horror road trips that were on that said hi. That was either Chris or Boston. I'm thinking it would be Chris. That's Chris Smith that he reached out to me in the fall, and I did a collaboration with him because he does a lot of like the haunts, the Halloween haunts. And
Right.
He's actually on Hulu's Monster Inside. He's the main narrator, if anybody's seen it.
That's awesome.
Uncovering the horrors of McKeamy. Yep, it's Chris.
Yeah.
Uncovering the horrors of McKeamy Manor with Russ. And he reached out and was like, I think we could do a really cool crossover. So in October, I went up to Michigan and went to a couple of Halloween haunts up there. Of course, we had to tie paranormal into it. So we went to Eloise Asylum.
Yeah.
And that place was amazing. And we actually got to go through the tunnels, which you can't get into for an investigation. Those are only for the Halloween haunt. So
Yeah.
it was freaking
Yeah, I used to live in Pennsylvania. So we went to Eastern State Penitentiary, the Terror Behind the Walls, and then we went to Pennhurst for the asylum. I've been to Pennhurst 3 times, and like walking around, it's crazy though. Just the feeling that I got knowing that I'm going to Pennhurst. Like I don't know if it was the excitement or it's the just being there and wanting to go back. Like, do you have a location that like
that
just
calls
it just calls you and earns you to come back to?
Ooh, a location that calls to me. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I've got a couple locations that I can say are like home away from home. Let's see. I've got off the top of my head, I've got 3-4 locations that are home away from home. And there's actually Broadhead Manor is actually one of them. Nick and I were there this past weekend, and Bill Walter, who owns and runs this magnificent, it's 15,000 square feet, 3 floors. It's a former school. The last graduating class was in 1996, and like that place is like home away from home. Carrie, yeah, Broadhead is like when I posted about it, the best way to describe Broadhead, it is Disneyland for the paranormal. It's got everything. You've got your spirits, you've got elementals, you've got crawlers. And I'm one of those people that before, if somebody mentioned crawler, I would be like, oh, it's 60,000. I thought, okay, my bad. I had the square footage wrong.
Crazy.
So yeah, it's huge. I know it's huge.
Like that's like walking through Pennhurst. There's like
It's insane.
there's like 12. Oh, there's got to be at
Steps
least
in.
more than 12. Oh yeah, definitely got steps in.
Yeah,
It's like you walk through all the tunnels above the tunnels, and then you go down, and like they made the underground tunnel into like a cave. So
Oh,
I couldn't
wow.
even imagine, and they have actors down there all night long.
That's
Like, I couldn't imagine. I tried to get a job at Pennhurst because I'm a haunt actor too.
oh, you
I've-
are okay.
I've done that for 13 years. But I worked at Field of Screams. I've worked at Halloween Horror Nights, Hallow Scream, Screamageddon. I've done a lot.
Wow.
He has FOS tattooed on the back of his
Yeah,
neck.
the Field of Screams. That's the one. That's my home haunt. I have that tattooed on the back of my neck.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would say, to answer this question, like it would be Broadhead Manor, Wildwood Sanitarium. I mean the spirit and like what is amazing.
Hey, I don't know.
is
That's
that,
what Field of Screams is. That's awesome.
when I've been at Wildwood and like even at Broadhead, like the kids were like, Brie, like on Necrophonic, because we left our phones running. Nick and I did with our TikTok lives going.
Right.
And you know, like people were messaging me and they're like, these, you know, you're loved wherever you go, you're loved. They're like, but these kids were like, Brie, where's Brie? We want to play with Brie. And then like they wouldn't get a response. And then they start calling for the owner, Bill. We want Bill, Bill, Bill. You know, it's amazing. So like Broadhead was amazing. Wildwood, I definitely feel like a huge connection to the spirits that are there at Wildwood. It's like, if very rarely do I feel like really comfortable and at home, but it's like Broadhead was definitely, it's like home away from home. Wildwood, home away from home.
Yeah.
And this, I know some people will freak with this one, Hinsdale.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hinsdale calls to me.
Yeah.
I've got special ties to Hinsdale. And then, but but then one that I found, Nick and I found, we recently highlighted it on a trip early in the month, was Woodlawn Estate in Maysville, Kentucky. It's actually a blue collar paranormal location, along with Olive Hill High School. That's one of their other locations.
Yeah.
Woodlawn was very special to Nick and I. Like we had stuff happen at Woodlawn that was just insane. Like I mean, and this house is huge. It's actually one of out of three sister houses. A doctor built his three daughters each a home. Only three of them, or out of the three homes, only two of them exist. The third one burnt down a couple years ago. And this home, it was also converted into a solarium at one point, giving people sunlight healing from different diseases at one point in time. It was also
They try to do that with tuberculosis also.
Yeah, it was used for TB as well. Yeah. So, but it was also a brothel at one point. And like we're on one side of the building, and on the other far other side, we actually had one of those doorbell chimes, like motion sensors, and it goes ding dong, and you hear a voice go, hello. And we put it on the floor in the doorway, and Nick and I are on the other side, and we're talking, and we're watching shadow play, and all of a sudden you hear ding dong, hello. And we're just like, because you got to have mass to set those up. Now, we did a daytime walk. There's no evidence of animals. The back doors you cannot get through. The only door to come in is the front door that we're close to. And that door, when it opens, it like screeches, like it rubs. There's a definite noise. We would have heard that door open. So we're like, oh my goodness, like for this to go off, like we're definitely dealing with a massive source of energy. Like there's something incredible in this building. I mean, granted, like I even said on the live, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, kind of scared right now because like what would have the mass to set that off? You know, it makes me wonder, like, do I really want to go see what this is? You know, but of course, as an investigator, you're like, get your camera. We should probably get it out. Like, granted, we did that about 5-10 minutes later, but you know, gave it a head start.
Getting into the little locations that you have been to and you've been able to get in and do investigations. One of my all-time bucket list, because this place is the Randolph County Infirmary. So can you tell me a little bit about what happened in this, and I'll show some of the pictures of it?
Okay, yeah. So we actually went there for Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to us. You can actually see his Christmas shirt, the gangsta rapper. Yeah. He actually had a ugly Christmas sweater on and did like a funny dance to recreate a video that I had done off CapCut. But yeah, we went and we spent Christmas Eve, didn't get home until between like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. I actually did isolation in Lulu's room, and Lulu's an extremely horrifying but typical story that you find in these poor farms. Yeah. So, what a lot of people don't understand is with a poor farm, you know, a lot of people are like, why are these places haunted? And it's like, you have to understand how society was and what a poor farm was. A poor farm was like, if back in the 1800s, if say um, say Nick had land, right? Like we owned a bunch of property, we were married, and horrifically, tragically, Nick dies. And
Yeah.
it's me and we've got kids. I'm not going to get that property. I'm not going to get any
Right.
of the buildings. I'm not going to get the land. It is going to go to next of kin.
Right.
And if there's, and even if there is next of kin doesn't have to let me stay there.
Right.
So they would typically take these women, their children, and they would take them, dump them at the poor farm. Now you could be arrested, and because a poor farm was a legitimate working farm. So
Right.
the police would take inmates to these farms and you would work off your debt to society.
Yeah.
And as if you had health,
People like the husbands would just drop women off just because they got on their nerves.
Yeah, if you pissed your husband off and he decided, I don't want to be married to you anymore, guess what? He could drop you off and you're stuck. As a woman, there's no getting out of there,
Right.
unless you're able to somehow find somebody else to remarry you and get you out of that hellhole.
Yeah.
You're basically stuck.
Unfortunately, the only way you can get out of that is if you perish.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of trauma in these type of locations. There's and on top of that, you have one central family that is running the property. They're actually living in a portion of the building separate from everybody. They're not really, as long as the stuff around the farm's getting done, they're not really patrolling and making sure, even though they've got a woman's wing and a male's wing, female and males.
Right.
They're not really making sure stuff is on the up and up. Lulu went into Randolph, and from what I understand, she was there from the 20s, 30s, 40s. She was brought in with her stepfather, and her stepfather ended up sexually assaulting her. She ended up giving birth to a child. She was then assaulted 2 more times by 2 different men, and got pregnant with those children as well. And later on, the children were taken from her. So Randolph became nothing more than heartache and pain for this poor woman. And when you walk in there being a medium, it was very overwhelming. I broke down and cried when I was first taken in there. They actually said Lulu asked for me and they took me up there. And my God, this poor woman and what she went through, I could feel every ounce of it. It was very overwhelming. And, we ended up, at the end of the night, I wasn't with the group. I ended up, I hit a TikTok. We were live on TikTok. I hit a TikTok goal, and I should have sent you the video from Randolph, and I can't believe I didn't. The TikTok goal, I promised my viewers I would do an isolation stint in the basement by myself. So I'm downstairs in the basement and I've got a bat coming at me. At the moment, I've got a bat coming at me. They're outside of Lulu's room and they're getting interaction from a spirit named Mikey. And they actually have an amazing EVP of a little kid going, Santa, like acknowledging that it was Christmas.
Wow.
So, I mean, we got all kinds of insane activity all night. My 19-year-old son was with us. And at one point we were in the basement. We actually started off in the basement and I'm halfway down the hallway and he comes around the corner and he's like, Mom, were you just up here with me? And I'm like, no, I've been down here this whole time waiting for you. And he's like, I just saw you walk around the corner. So they've even got doppelgangers there, which is insane. I mean, it's definitely an insane location. It's definitely a location I would love to get back to because there's just every location. I mean, I know I'll probably say this about every location. Every location has layers upon layers.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
and like you can't even get to every layer unless you like literally live there.
Yeah. And I mean, even living there, I mean, if Bill's still on, I think he'll tell you, even living in a location, even living there, you're not going to get through every layer. Like, I mean, he's been there for years, and I believe it's 6 years, 7 years that Bill's had the property. And, there's still layers, you're still going to have stuff that you're discovering physically, like they're still finding all kinds of, artifacts within the building.
I'm sure. Yeah, I had a couple friends that work at Penhurst, and they're still clearing out buildings and finding stuff that has been under dirt and grime for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've
I've,
got a friend that
I've
was there too.
shadow figures. I've seen a couple shadow figures at Penhurst. I've heard whistling at Penhurst. It's I want to get into that so bad.
Yeah, I actually had whistling at Broadhead. We did Estes, and I started FM, flipped over to AM, and on the AM was really interesting. It was like going back in time. I remember it vividly because I kept hearing a steam a steam engine whistle. And then I could hear the sound of a steam engine, like because it sounds different from the trains we
Yeah,
have now. If you've
right.
ever heard and
Mhm.
seen like old movies, you can distinguish the sounds. And I could hear like that kind of train going down the tracks. And then I kept hearing that whistle, and then a male kept whistling, but then that crossed over because I stopped with AM and went back to FM, and I started hearing the male whistle on the FM too, which was really cool.
That's weird.
So to get into, you brought up the Hinsdale.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna show a couple pictures. Can you tell me your most crazy experience at Hinsdale?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I've been to Hinsdale a total of 4 times. My first visit was the end of October of 2023. I was invited to go for a 3-day, 2-night stay with another paranormal team. And I decided that nobody wanted to sleep in Mary's room. And I was like, if I'm going to push myself as an investigator, why not stay in Mary's room, the room that's most notoriously known as Nick Groff getting attacked in on Paranormal Lockdown?
Yeah.
So, not that I don't believe it. I watched the episode. I watched the episode actually multiple times because I was trying to figure it out.
Which was completely crazy because, not to mean to cut you off or anything, because that episode is so crazy. Katrina told the spirit outside in the woods to attack him, and then he got attacked.
And then he got attacked. Yeah.
And
there's layers at Hinsdale. Hinsdale's haunting goes back to the 1700s.
Yeah.
You have to understand that George Washington actually ordered a battalion of soldiers to go out to the land that Hinsdale is on, not just the property of Hinsdale, but the surrounding land, to eradicate the Indians that were causing issues for the troops during the Revolutionary War. So you've got that. Then you've got the stagecoach inn that was there, that was run by the brothers who would murder the people that would stay there and steal their property. Then, of course, you've got, the Dandy family with the poltergeist activity, the documented by the Catholic Church failed exorcism on the house.
Yeah.
Even the last family that stayed there, they reported activity. They just ignored it. I don't know how they ignored it, because when I've been there, activity has been insane. The first night I was there, slept in Mary's room, and we didn't get to bed till about I think I looked at the clock, it was 4:30. So slept for a few hours, got up, and then the following night, I think I was in bed by 3. I remember I was texting with Nick saying goodnight, and as I'm texting with him, there's actually a picture that you show of a big room with the queen bed in it. That's Clara's room. And Clara's room, yes, that room. And then where the desk is on the left-hand side, you'll start to see a door frame. That is the closet that has the mirror in it that is believed to be a portal. And Nick and I actually got video of, which we believe proves that there is a portal in that closet, of energy burst going in and out of the closet when we were there in New Year's.
Wow.
So, I'm hearing knocks coming from the inside of that closet. Now, there's a married couple that's sleeping in that bed, and they are out. They are out. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, activity starting. And, good night. And as soon as the knocking in the closet stops, knocking from the bedroom windows in Clara's room starts. But it's not the inside of the window. It's the outside of the windows.
Wow.
Now, you showed a picture of the front of the Hinsdale house. If you're able to pull that up. Okay, the top 2 windows that is seen in that picture, that is Clara's room.
Oh wow.
As you can see, there is no way you can physically get to those two windows unless you have a ladder.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing knocking from the outside of those windows. As soon as the knocking stops on the outside, knocking starts on the inside, the wall that has the closet. And it goes down the wall with the closet and it hits the wall that would where the stairwell would be. And it wraps. Now I'm laying there. Now everybody knows from Paranormal Lockdown about the flies. The flies get active when it's about to get real. I will verify that that's true. Anytime activity spikes in that house, the flies go bananas. And these aren't just like your regular house flies. These are like baby grapes. And they're like Japanese kamikaze pilots. And they attack you. And they hit you. And they bounce off your face. And they fly away. And they go back up. And they come back in for more. And it is the most annoying and painful little shits you will ever encounter.
Of course, flies.
So, I'm laying there, and as I'm hearing the knocking go down the wall, like I'm like the flies are getting active in Mary's room. So like I pull, and I'm laying on my left side, so I'm looking at the wall where it's got the table with the dolls on it. Yes, I'm facing. I'm looking at the table with the dolls, and I'm looking at that wall right next to it. So, I pull the blanket up, but I all of a sudden I feel. I'm frozen with fear. I've never felt terror in my life like this in my life. I'm a mother. I've got 3 kids. I've got 3 kids who have had stuff happen to them. You know, kids get sick. They, you end up seeing doctors. I've had a daughter fall, have to take a ride in the hospital, in an ambulance, get stitches in the hospital. And I thought that was terrifying. The terror I felt that night surpassed the terror I felt when I was riding with my daughter in the ambulance to the hospital. I will say hands down. And it was like, I felt sick. It was hard to breathe. And now as soon as the knocking stops, I hear footsteps coming up the stairs from the kitchen. So I'm listening to like the sound of the footsteps and I'm gauging. Now downstairs, we've got 2 girls and there's there's like 3 guys. So I'm listening to the sound of these footsteps and I'm like, okay, these are definitely not the 2 females that were downstairs. This is too heavy to be them.
Right.
And then I'm like, okay, well, it's definitely not the other guy who's heavier set because they're too light to be his. It was almost like Goldilocks with the sound of feet.
Yeah.
So it's got to be one of the other 2 guys because they're about the same size. Now the floor upstairs, when you get to the upstairs, the floor is wood. Now I'm hearing the footsteps on the stairs. As soon as it hit the upstairs, I should have heard footsteps continue. There was nothing. And then, you know how you get the feeling when you know somebody's next to you?
Oh, yeah.
Like, remember being in class and you could sit there and you could feel when the teacher was bent down next to you. You could tell the teacher's right here, over looking at what you're doing. And you're like, crap.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what I felt. Like, I could feel something at this point because I got the blanket like this around my face. And I'm just seeing the dolls. Oh. So before I feel this, right? Like, there's no footsteps. I'm looking at the dolls. The dolls turn to black. Now, it's not that a shadow has overcasted. It is like black. The dolls don't exist anymore. Like, as black as this microphone is, there's no more dolls. And I'm looking and I'm like, crap, there's no table. There's no dolls. I can still see the wall, but I can't see the dolls. Like, this is all blacked out. I can still see the gap between the table and the bed, though. That all of a sudden turns to black. That fills in. At this point, I'm looking at nothing but complete blackness. Like, it's not shadowed. It's not gray. It's blacker than black. And I'm like,
something came in and engulfed the whole room, or
no, it didn't engulf the whole room because I could still see like the wall. I just could not see any of that. I couldn't see the table. I couldn't see the space in between the table and the bed. It was like, at first it was the table with the dolls that disappeared. And then it like slowly moved toward the bed and like that gap in between the bed and the table disappeared, turning black. And it was like, whoa. Now, the whole time, the investigator in my head is like, grab your phone, idiot. You need to be, this is the best evidence you've ever had. And I'm like, I can't move.
Yeah.
And then I start feeling like the person is leaning down next to me. And I'm just like thinking, please be this person. Please, I'm thinking their name in my head. And I'm just like, please. And then I have an exhale in my face, and it's like from the pits of hell, and it sounds masculine, but it's like a like big deep exhale, but it's like loud, and it's not a growl, but it almost sounds like a growl, but you can tell it's an exhale. And
Yeah.
I'm like, crap. So like I go and I move the blanket back, and when I throw the blanket back, there's nobody there. And
Well,
I don't even think my feet touch the floor. Like I refuse to leave a location. I left the room. Won't lie. Left the room. I don't even think my feet hit the floor. I think I jumped off the bed over the door, like into Clara's room. So at this point, as soon as my feet hit the floor and I'm in the room, the married couple sleeping in the bed, they finally wake up. They're asleep the whole time. All the knocking, all the banging, footsteps, the deep exhale in my face. They're out. As soon as my feet hit the floor in their room, they're like, the wife sits up and she's like, Brie, are you okay? And I'm like, no.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I had my back to them. I didn't even realize it. I turned around to face them. And from what her husband told me, I had tears just streaming down my face. I didn't even realize I was crying. I was shaking
Right.
extremely bad. And I'm telling them, I give them a recap, everything that just happened. As soon as I stop talking to them, we can hear noises. And they're like, oh, somebody's must be in the kitchen. They're probably coming up to check on us. Well, I can look down the stairs and I'm like, there ain't nobody in the kitchen. At that moment, I realized the noise was coming from Laura's room across the way. Now, you can start hearing something crawl up the wall, but it's not just like they're crawling. It's like you can hear them like in digging in. Like it sounds like something's embedding in the wall, and they're like taking, they're dragging themselves with their nails up the wall, and then you hear it go across the wall. Like I'm expecting something non-human cryptid to come charging out of this room, and I'm thinking in my head, hopefully I'm fat enough to keep this damn thing away from them, and they can the window and land the right way to go get help, right? Like I'm screwed. Hopefully they get away. And nothing shows up. It took me about 10 minutes to calm down. I did go back into Mary's room and I went back to sleep. And I didn't let it conquer me. But yeah, it Hinsdale is definitely not for a beginner investigator.
Right.
It's you want your meat and potatoes. Hinsdale will serve you meat and potatoes.
That's pretty much what I say about Penhurst.
Yeah.
Like you're guaranteed to find something. Like you want to go find out if paranormal's real, go to Penhurst.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Hinsdale. Go to these major locations, and you'll find it.
Oh yeah.
These spirits will find you if you're not trying to find them. Like for sure.
Oh yeah. And you definitely got to make sure you're prepared when you're going into these locations. I mean, this isn't, there's some locations that I think are amazing locations for beginners, Hinsdale is not for the faint of heart. I mean, if you're just starting out and you want to get your feet wet, go to Wildwood Sanitarium. That's an amazing location.
That's actually our next pictures that we're pulling up.
Yes, Wildwood. Love Wildwood. So Wildwood was actually, it was forced by the state during the TB outbreak into a TB facility. And they actually did a lot of non-common medical practices there to treat tuberculosis.
Oh, wow.
So, and Wildwood was actually known to have a kind of a higher success rate, but the patients that were admitted into Wildwood, how do I word it? Like they had kind of like because there's kind of different types of TB, and you got your like you're gonna die, and then you've got your you may die, but you can survive too. And so it was like
what we just went through with COVID.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would really compare it to COVID, but kind of. But yeah, so like it was kind of like but they did a lot of like interesting treatments there. I won't reveal those because I want to suggest I really want to get people to go to Wildwood and learn the history
Absolutely.
themselves.
Where is this location?
Wildwood. Okay, I always say it wrong. So if Brooke is still in chat, I hope Brooke can help me out with this. I always throw an extra A in there where there doesn't need to be one. Salamanca, Salamaca, It's on an Indian reservation in New York.
Okay.
So that adds another whole layer to this location.
Yeah.
But it's definitely amazing. I've been to Wildwood. Now, when I was talking about working with Chris, you saw Horror Road Trip. So when we were doing the first part of the collab, I was we went and did the haunts up in Michigan. And then I went on my 3-week road trip in the fall to bring in Halloween and to kind of like jumpstart, paranormal trip in Brie. And so I was able to get a hold of Brooke and was talking to Brooke and Chris. And I'm like, what if we could bring, we already have one collab set, but it's not till the end of November. What if we could do a collab again at the beginning of November? So that way there's not too big of a gap in between our 2 times together. Yes, thank you, Adam. Adam just put it in chat. So they were like, yeah, thank you. I always throw an extra A in there. Nick's always teasing me for it. I think Brooke at this point just knows that I'm like, I say things as they're spelled.
Yeah, so do I.
So
try to come.
I'm usually pretty good at that.
I would have people up north try to read places here in Florida.
Wait till you see that Noosa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okeechobee and.
Oh yeah, I struggle in Florida too. My brother down there, I'm sure he would be laughing at me. But so I reached out to them, and so actually what we did is we did do a collab at Wildwood, and the collab at Wildwood is actually kind of like Wildwood now has a huge special place in our hearts, not just because of the relationship I've built with Brooke and her mom Lori, and the rest of her family, her wonderful husband Zach. They've totally become like family to me, but it became the birthplace of the show that we do now, Remotely Paranormal. So what nobody knew going into this is if you ever saw the poster, and if you're going through my pictures on Facebook, you would have seen I'm standing in front of Wildwood, and it's the picture of me with my hands outstretched, and you see Chris hovering over the top of Wildwood, and then there's 2 eerie little kind of looking like old picture faces. Those are the 2 doctors from that had practices at Wildwood. So you're thinking this is going to be amazing. They're tag teaming, they're going to be at Wildwood. But what nobody knew, oh, shut up, Nick. Okay, now he's in the chat being a brat. So sorry, that's my boyfriend, guys. And I got the chat turned on so I could see it. So yeah, I'm like Brie, dum. So don't make me go downstairs. But
do it.
Chris wasn't on property with me. Chris was at home. So it was all done remote. And nobody knew until we went live. So we went live, and it was about 2.5 hours, and I had different tasks. I had 5 rooms, 5 different challenges that I had to complete on my own. And I spent the night completely alone at Wildwood that night.
Wow.
And then we went and did our last part of the collaboration. We were actually together for that one. We went to Madison Seminary, and we had a snowstorm come in. We almost got snowed in up there. It was quite an interesting situation. But yeah, so Wildwood became the birth. Little did we know that was going to be the birthplace of the show that we do with Remotely Paranormal. So I go into haunted locations, and we do 2.5 hours, where if we can do 5 rooms, we do 5 rooms or more. And I've got different challenges for each room I'm in. And then I spend the night in the haunted location by myself. So when we started it in December, we were actually at the mysterious Monroe house. And we were at the mysterious Monroe house. So I was at Monroe all by myself, got amazing activity at Monroe. And then that was December 17th. And then in January 26th, we were at Hinsdale. the 27th, I was at Niagara Western Block. And on the 28th, I was back at Wildwood. So we've taken the month of February off with it being so short, but we've already got the location lined up for March. So March is going to be it's going to be massive, the location that I'm going to. And
actually, we wanted to ask you if you have anything coming up, so that's perfect.
yeah,
we'll do that a little later.
Yeah.
Just I want to play a couple. I want to play a video.
We have
a couple video photos still, but I want to get into a couple of the videos. So as you guys know, or if you're new to this show, we don't watch any of these shows when they send us this stuff. So we do a blind reaction, and we love seeing what people do during investigations. So here's one of the videos. During the videos, we can't talk and shut off the mic, so.
All right, no, that's fine.
Hey, Phil. How are you? Okay, I just heard a voice. Not through the SB11. And I'm trying to figure out if that was downstairs or up here with me. No, that wasn't me, you guys. You guys heard that too?
So
that was my solo at Hinsdale.
Wow.
What I didn't hear what it was.
Okay, so you hear me say hi to Phil. Phil's one of my mods on TikTok. And I'm like, hey, Phil, how are you? And as soon as I say, how are you, there's a pause and you hear, actually, I didn't even catch it. My boyfriend, Nick, actually caught it. It sounds like a male going,
Oh,
it's
wow.
like, it's real quick, just a like in response to my question to Phil.
Yeah.
You want to play it again?
Well, yeah, we can play it one more time.
Hey, Phil. How are you? Okay, I just heard a voice. Not through the SB11. And I'm trying to figure out if that was downstairs or up here with me. No, that wasn't me, you guys. You guys heard that too?
Yeah,
I heard it that time.
Yeah. It's like, that's why I've got it. Like, you have to have your volume all the way up. Like, it's one of those, like, it's real quick. And if you're not paying attention, it's one of those beautiful disembodied voices that we catch at locations that sometimes we completely miss.
Right. All right. No, that's awesome. We've got a couple of those. When you got attacked at Gilchrist, we didn't know any of that, and then Ryan went over his footage. Ryan, our friend here in OOP, we collabed together at the jail, and I'm not allowed to say what jail yet. It's still under all of that kind of stuff. If you guys are watchers of this channel, you know what jail I'm talking about.
If you know, you know.
But
anyways.
Yeah, we got EVPs that we didn't even know, which completely coincided with what was going on at that very moment. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'll send you it's actually, the video is on our TikTok.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah. I put it all up on TikTok. We can play one more video and then we'll get into what I really want to know what happened. But we'll play this one real quick.
Okay.
Oh, they're seeing orbs. Light.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So was that just the light? Was it like was trying to get you in the interaction to dance, or
Well, you gotta okay. So now this was right after I did 72 hours of alones, complete solos in haunted locations.
yeah,
And so I did Friday, Hinsdale, Saturday, Pier Niagara, Western Block, Sunday at Wildwood Sanitarium, turned back around, went right back to Hinsdale. And that was this collab that I was at. And I
so you
kind
were
of
a little stir crazy.
well, no, I wasn't. I wouldn't say I was stir crazy. I was maybe 0 F's given at that point. I don't, but it was more of like I had an epiphany while I was there. We're asking the same damn questions. And it reminded me of like the Ben Affleck meme where he's like outside with a cigarette.
Yeah,
You know, like how many times are we gonna ask a spirit, how did you die?
yeah,
Why did you die? I mean, like this, it's the same stuff every time. And I'm like, what if we were to introduce music? And what if we were to dance and raise the vibration, have fun?
yeah,
Would we get more interaction? Like, like I was looking at the history of the home. Okay, during the early 1900s, that house was actually used by the mafia as a brothel. Very
wow.
little known historical fact about that property. So you've got to think that there was music, there was dancing, and then there was a home with teenagers in that house.
Yeah,
Their music, dancing, they had daughters. They were preparing for stuff. Maybe I don't remember a lot of the history on the dandies, to be honest, because every time I hear something, it seems to be different. So I'm just thinking, regardless of the location, I mean, unless it's completely inappropriate, I mean, why not try amping up the vibration? Why not try dancing? Why not see if we can get a good or different, like what kind of response would we get? I mean, you got to think of it this way. If I piss them off, I'm getting a response. If I make them happy, I'm getting a response. So either way, I'm going to get reaction. Hopefully. I mean, unless I piss them off, will hide on you right now. So, I've actually got videos of me. Okay, after we did that, we played a couple more songs, and I go to pick up the phone to change the song that's playing, and I've got my phone. I'm holding it like this. It's off camera because I have a spare phone that I use for music,
right,
like emergency phone calls if needed while I'm streaming.
right.
So I'm holding the phone like this, and I've got Spotify pulled up. I don't even touch my phone. It automatically, like the song changed. It was like somebody touched my phone and selected Give It Away, Red Hot Chili Peppers. The necrophonic was running at the same time. You could hear it running in the background in that video. The necrophonic actually starts singing along with Red Hot Chili Peppers. So my friend Jackie, who's with me, we're like, oh my God, like they're singing. Like I didn't even touch the phone. She watched me the whole time. She saw I did not touch the screen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. And you can hear them kind of choppily singing along. As soon as like we're standing there, we're just like, this just happened. Holy cow. We've got a fan tune. And the fan tune is a motion sensor. It also acts like a music box. It's by ghostgeartech.com. Rob, who makes these pieces of equipment, is amazing. And so it's in Laura's room. It starts going off. And I'm like, wait, what? Now you saw the mag light sitting in the chair.
Yeah.
We had that mag light. Now on the desk that you saw in the picture, that desk doesn't move. That desk is in the same spot every time. There's another mag light on that desk. So the fan tune goes off, the mag light in the chair goes off, the mag light on the desk goes off, the mag light in the chair goes back off, the fan tune goes back off. Like I haven't posted this video yet, but in the video you hear me say, I don't know where to show the camera because it was just stuff started going off everywhere.
Wow.
It was insane. I've now done the Cupid Shuffle at Hinsdale. I've done it at Wildwood. Wildwood, we had all hell break loose afterwards in the doll room. They've got a motion sensor doll. that sits on a rocking horse, and the eyes are red, and it sings. The doll went off. A 36-foot tripwire blew out completely. Like, you see it. The doll goes off. The tripwire, all 36 feet of it, is purple. And you see, it's like the energy just goes boom. It was like Hiroshima in this room. The tripwire blows out. It goes from purple straight to red, and then it stays red. And we're thinking that the energy's still sitting there. And finally, one of my mods is like, "You might want to change the batteries. I think they blew the the tripwire out, like the whole 36 feet of it."
Yeah.
So, and this is actually posted on all my socials. So that light goes off. Then the temp sensor on the REM pod sitting in the middle of the tripwire, that starts spiking and going off, and then they kill the battery. So that was right after we did, and I was dancing downstairs with Brooke right before that happened. So I've done it at Wildwood. I've done it at Olive Hill High School, and at the event that we're doing in May, you can bet we are having a dance party in that gym again, people. So we will be doing the Cupid Shuffle. I've done it there. I've done it at Old Blackford County Jail. I have done it now at Broadhead Manor. Just about everywhere that we have gone, I have actually started dancing to see the type of interaction we will get. And it has worked. At Olive Hill High School, I was dancing next to a tripwire, completely purple, and you can see in the video where it looks like something runs up the trip lights, changing them all up to me like they wanted to dance with me. And then we had a boo buddy in a chair, and the boo buddy starts going off.
Wow.
So, I mean, every time we do it, there's been reaction. Like, I'll have cat balls go off, REM pods going off, trip lights going off. It's insane.
Yeah, we did an investigation here in Clearwater at an old school, and we played music to what that period was that the little kid died. And right when the music ended, I was doing the Estes method, and I was talking, and the whole time I was doing the Estes and the music was playing, nothing came through. And as soon as the song ended, that's when it started talking again on the Estes method.
Oh, wow.
So we stopped to listen to the music, and when it stopped, like, it was like play again, play music.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
That's
Speaking of the Estes method,
yes.
that's me and Sarah's go-to thing. We like doing the double Estes method, but SP11. So get two different channels, two different things. But you said this is your first time doing the Estes method?
Yeah, in that picture, that's the first time. That was at the Old Franklin County Jail in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. And that was the first time I did Estes. And it was actually right when I did this that somebody actually pulled me aside, and they were like, I think you're like a beacon of light. Because when I did this method, I didn't know the portion of the jail that we were in. I did not know the history of it. I didn't know that there was a riot. I didn't know that somebody had jumped off the third floor and had actually survived. Well, they kind of survived. But there was a riot there. And I started, from what they told me, I started giving keywords for the riot: push, shove, stab, officer, F him, slash his neck, riot. I started dropping, I guess, a couple of the officers' names.
Wow.
And I didn't know any of this. I didn't know any of the intimate details of what had happened. So I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And I'm always skeptical of Estes, because if you're not wearing, I know I've seen, how do I say this? I have seen some people wear regular earphones that are not noise canceling.
Yeah.
And they tell people they're noise canceling. And they're ironically always able to give a valid answer to the question that's asked every time.
There's more of them being able to hear what the question is and answering to what the question is.
So, I mean, and I don't want to downplay it because I do Estes. I mean, I do, you know, Nick and I do a lot on TikTok. I do a lot on StreamYard, which goes to my Facebook, my YouTube, and my Twitter account. So, you know, one thing that people do ask for, if we're able to, we will do Estes if we've got the equipment. If it's just Nick and I, we will not have the equipment. We'll run SB11, we'll run an S box. We'll run necrophonic. We
Right.
typically don't do the Estes because we want to give a good solid investigation. You know, yeah, we're having fun. Yeah, I'm dancing around. Well, now I'm dancing. You know, you hear us joking and laughing, but it's like we still want to give a good solid investigation.
Right.
And
It's, I
Estes,
feel like it's hard being serious for 8-9 hours a night.
yeah.
I feel like you need that release, like
Oh,
to
yeah.
have fun. You need to enjoy yourself at the same time. But
It's hard. It's hard. And you know, I feel like the Estes method, if there was a way that we could record to validate what the person is saying, I think that would make it a lot better. I'm not knocking people who do it. Like I said, I do Estes.
yeah,
You know, we've got, you know, Nick has done Estes with me too. Do I like it? I think it's really interesting. I think it's one of those that there are times where I did Estes. We were actually, I believe it was right before, and I could be wrong, but I want to say it was right before we went to Hinsdale for a 3-day, 2-night stay. Nick and I went, and we happened to be at the old Blackford County Jail in Hartford City, Indiana, which, you know, a block away, not even a block away, is the mysterious Monroe House.
yeah,
And, you know, there is a historical tie between the house and the jail. So there was a group there, and a friend of ours was over there, and he was like, would you be willing to go do Estes here at the jail? And we'll have one of the girls at Monroe do Estes, and just to see, because they say that the house and the jail are connected on a spiritual level, not just historical.
right,
And there's also supposedly a portal, you know, in the jail as well. And I was like, I'll do it. Why not? When the first session I did, I was actually in the jail cell, and one of my viewers actually screen recorded it and sent it to me. And what was weird was I start saying that I'm freezing, and all of a sudden my TikTok live froze. You could still hear me, but it completely froze. And it's like, oh, like, is that coincidence, or was that like a mimic reaction of what I was feeling?
right,
Then I go up to the bathroom where they say the portal is. And we were getting valid responses between the two houses. People were saying it was the most wild, valid Estes that they had ever seen. You know, the girl at the house would say push, and I would get pushed, or I would get touched. Our friend Cody, who was asking the questions, you know, he was being stern, and evidently who was coming through got pissed off with Cody and was like, F you. And, you know, they started talking smack. I didn't know. But we got valid answers about where the portal was, who was coming through the portal, and the connection between.
you okay?
Okay, so we've got haunted objects and we've got spirits in our home.
Yeah.
And I've got some weird stuff happening in the office right now. So I don't know if you could hear the fan running.
No, I actually have a haunted object on my table right now while we're talking also.
That's awesome.
So I was going to announce it here at the end of the show. But if
We have two.
that's kind of that. Oh yeah, we do have 2 haunted dolls in this room right now.
One's just not
So-
on the table.
That's really funny though.
Yeah, so like I've got a fan next to me and the fan just changed speeds.
Oh.
That's weird.
Like the fan is like a good maybe 2 feet away from me,
Yeah.
and it just changed speed. So,
Huh.
like, that's why I stopped, because I was like, I thought
Oh, I
something
could
weird
definitely
had
see it.
happened.
I
And
could
I was
see it
like,
in your face.
yeah. I mean, we've got stuff that, I mean, I'm a medium. We've got stuff that passes through this house all the time. I feel it a
Right.
lot. Sometimes they like to show me who they are, and sometimes we sit and chit chat, and sometimes they're just like, I'm just passing through, and I don't want to show you or talk to you about anything.
Right.
But we do have the spirits that are attached to the objects in the office, and we've got some pretty interesting stuff. We've got, I think you can see the bear over my other shoulder right there.
Yeah.
Where am I pointing? There.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Scott attached to him. And then we've got a prism with a little girl named Lily attached to her. And we've got a cross that was used during an exorcism that's got a really nasty little shit attached to it. Well, it's not little. This thing it's bad. Nick was even, I remember I was on my last road trip and he was live and he was like, maybe I'll open it. And I was like, for the love of God, do not open that cross.
Yeah.
It's one of the Catholic crosses where it's got the part that slides up. And I'm like, no, don't. Whatever you do, do not. No. So it's actually, we got to get it encased. And then, we've got things that have come from haunted locations. We've got 2 haunted dolls.
Yeah.
We've got a plethora of
We have
stuff in here.
7 haunted dolls.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So, and we actually have 2 in the room with me right now, and we have one in that's a very, very active doll, and that's an assault circle right now. We keep her in assault circle. She's not a bad energy, but we try to keep our house tame as much as we can doing
Right.
this. But yeah, we have activity once in a while. We're like, yeah, I don't know what that was. That was a little, yeah.
Yeah, we had activity last night. We have one of the cat balls, and like like how cats have like the plastic thing with like the scratching pad in the middle and the ball that goes around.
Yeah.
We have like one of the cat balls like we would use on investigation in it, and cats weren't anywhere to be seen. I mean, and this is one of those like you can stomp up and down right next to it, and the cat ball doesn't go off. This cat ball went off consistently. I would say close to an hour last night. And then it stopped going off and it sounded like a cat jumped off of our kitchen counter. I'm pretty convinced it was my cat Louie that passed away in November. But the ironic thing is that Louie passed away at my old house in Ohio. He passed away before I could get him here. So
do you think animals follow you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Louis was my support animal when I went through my divorce, because I went through an extremely abusive relationship, and Louis was through and through was my support animal. Like we kind of saved each other because he was my rescue.
Right. So he's still protecting you even after he's passed away.
Yeah, I've actually had visions of him now and what he looks like now, and it's really cool. It's like Louis grew up. And it's awesome.
So to get back into the pictures and everything, I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine.
I just want to get into this conversation. Honestly, if it wasn't for Hans Holzer, for Ed and Lorraine Warren, neither one of us would be here right now doing what we do.
Right.
So you actually went to the grave of Ed and Lorraine Warren. Do you want to tell a little bit about that, or?
Yeah, so I went to the Phantasmacon that is put on by the Warrens. It's the Seekers of Supernatural that they do. And it is run by NESPR, which is what the Warrens founded in 1952. It's the New England Paranormal Society. Right. And it's now, Tony Spera is involved along with Dan Riviera, Wade Kirby. And so I went to the Phantasmacon to highlight it last year. I had a lot of friends that were there, went live. got to meet people, got to, it was a great way to network,
Yeah.
just starting. And they actually had 10 haunted objects from the Warrens Museum that they brought with. And one of the things that they had to represent something from the haunted museum was a woman dressed in white. And
Yeah.
Ed Warren is reported to be the first person to document the lady in white from the Union Cemetery. And that's, I can't remember the name of the town, but it's there in Connecticut.
That's
And
the one that the spirit in the white dress is sitting on the grave.
yeah, so and the cemetery is already rumored to be, have children spirits, revolutionary soldiers. And there's three different ways of that. There's three different possibilities of who this woman is. I'll be honest, I can't really remember all three off the top of my head right now. So I figured I like playing off things. I like to piggyback. I love to do tie-ins. If I can make a whole weekend kind of collab and tie in together historically,
Yeah.
or like location that is relevant to the next location, that's what I try to do.
Right.
So I went to Union Cemetery to highlight, because it was a tie-in to Ed Warren. And
Right.
then after that, I went to, and I can't remember the name of the cemetery where the Warrens are buried, and I do apologize for that. But I did go to, and I did go live at Union Cemetery, and I did go live from the cemetery where the Warrens are buried as well. But it was out of respect and to show everybody, because there's so many people that want to go see the Warrens. And like with what I do, with me going live and highlighting these locations and showcasing them, is, I want to be able, because there's people out there for health reasons that can't get to these places. Not a lot of them are handicap accessible,
Right.
and there's people that just, health wise, they're not able to go. Financially, they're not able to go. Location wise, can't go. So that's why I do everything that I do is always live. On top of it, then I can't, nothing's edited and you guys are getting it in real time.
Yeah.
So you're going to see me tripping over flat surfaces and choking on air consistently in real time. It's not edited out. But, so
we like doing all of our stuff that way too. We like doing it raw. I don't edit anything. We just film it and put it on our social.
Yeah, I prefer everything to be raw, because nowadays with a lot of the accusations that's out there, it typically, a lot of people are like, why, I've had people ask me, why does your investigation sometimes not look like what it does on TV? Okay. It took 5 days to record one episode and then edit it down to 45 minutes because there's 15 minutes of commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's not going to look the same because they compile everything into a nice, pretty little box and put a bow on top of it for you.
Yeah.
Mine's raw. It's going to be hit or miss. There's going to be times where it might be boring. And that's when you hear me and, that's when you hear Nick and I joshing with each other and ribbing on each other. And, and then there's going to be times where you hear us squealing like little kids because holy crap, look at what's going on.
Yeah.
But,
we did a live investigation of Elizabeth, our really haunted doll. What was it? Not this past Saturday, last Saturday. And now I'm hearing knocks over here. There was just 2 knocks.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, that was me and Sarah. Every time the cat ball went off, we're like, oh my God. Yeah.
It's exciting. Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, I totally get it, especially when you're investigating your house and you're going live. You never know what's going to happen. Oh, that's so cool that you heard that, Adam.
Yeah,
I was really hoping you guys had heard the fan change its speed, because it was like on medium and now it's on low. Like it went from like fast and hard to like, slow and somewhat steady. So, but yeah, we've done lives for like our viewers on TikTok. We'll go into sub lives And we'll, if we get a new piece of equipment, we'll showcase a new piece of equipment and then use it for investigating our haunted objects. And, it's always kind of like you hold your breath because a lot of people expect stuff to happen. And I mean, we have had where our equipment's gone off, and we've had where nothing happened, but necrophonic seemed to be answering our questions validly.
Yeah.
You never know. And, but I mean, that's the beauty of doing everything live, whether you're investigating your dolls or, other haunted objects that you have, or we are doing it from locations. People are able to see setup to tear down what we're doing and what really goes into an investigation. And then on top of it, you're also seeing the validity of our investigation, that it's clean. Yeah. You're able to see how things are being put together, where it's being set up at. That way there's no question. I mean, granted, there are times where we've thrown our equipment out real quick because we were running on a time limit, Yeah. So, I mean, but you always know what we're working with. We'll go back over the stuff. We'll re-explain. I think that's the best way to keep it clean, especially literally with all the drama that's going on in the paranormal community right now and all the questioning. And, the best way to do it, I hate to say it right now, is probably going to be live, to keep it clean.
I've always wanted to do it live. That's what I've always talked about. Why do, everybody has the shows on Discovery and all of this. And even if you see all the stuff on YouTube, it's all, like you said, it's all 30 seconds onto an hour long of all of the stuff that they did, what they do in between. I know you spend 8 hours, you're going to sit there for 5-6 hours by yourself, bored.
Do you have a metal slinky, or is your chair got a metal coil?
Nope. I'm sitting in one of the lawn chairs, a cloth, and I have a rocking chair next to me. Oh, did you hear something?
Does anybody else hear what sounds like metal bracelets hitting each other? I swear I haven't been trying to give you a dirty look.
I got a hair tie.
No, it's definitely not that. And I'm just trying to figure out what I was hearing because it sounded like metal, almost like metal bracelets clicking together. It's your chair. It's when you're moving in your chair. Okay, I just heard it.
Debunked.
Debunked. Okay, so I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to give you a dirty look, but I'm like, I am
cool.
hearing
That's
stuff.
why I looked at it, I was like, you're looking at me a little weird. Okay.
Yeah, I'm am I the only one that's hearing? Because I'm looking at the chat and nobody's saying anything in chat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't be the only person hearing this. It literally sounded like metal bracelets.
Yeah, I'm sitting I guess there's metal to it, but it's one of the little lawn chair things you pull out.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when you wiggled in it, it kind of sounded like it. That kind of sounded like it. So, okay. If I hear it again, I'll be like, that's it. And if you weren't moving, then we know it's not the chair.
I'll put my hands up. I don't even remember what I was trying to say.
I'm sorry. I swear I was not. I was just like, wow, you really got a lot of stuff going on right now at your house. This is amazing.
And there's usually stuff all the time.
Do you have a chain wallet?
No. That's wearing basketball shorts right now.
Yeah, because somebody just I'm watching. Yeah, you see, Adam just asked if you got a chain wallet.
No. I just t-shirt and basketball shorts. She said that it sounded like metal bracelets clinging together, but I don't know if it's my chair or
probably.
I don't know.
I don't know, but that was crazy. I had to say something because I was just like, oh, it sounded like a wallet with metal, well, yeah, with the chains, like the 1990s, the chains on the wallet for sure.
Yeah. But to get back to the pictures, this is the one I've been waiting for the last little conversation that we have, and then we have a couple more videos, and then we'll get to the question of the week. So
right.
I'll go through all these pictures and just let me know what happened to you in this location. I'm gonna pick my favorite one real quick. If you guys don't know this, go do your research because everybody knows who this house is. It's a Lizzie Borden house.
Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father, she gave her father 40 whacks, gave her mother 41. I always get them flip-flopped.
So gave him 40 whacks on this.
Yep.
And came up and killed her mother there.
Yep. And if you notice in that picture, there's a picture frame, and in the picture frame is the actual photo of Abby.
Of the mother, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this is the photos of the father.
Yep.
That's so crazy.
Yep. Those are pictures from when I went to the Borden house on my fall trip.
I don't blame you. Did you stay there for the bed and breakfast, or?
I did not have that kind of money.
Fair
so
enough.
No. It just to do the tour was $30. So I at least did the tour.
Yeah.
And they even, if you notice on the arm of the couch, they've got a rubber axe and a blown up face of Andrew that you can put on your face, and people can reenact murdering Andrew if they want to.
Oh.
Yep.
That's a great thing for the spirits to reenact every day.
And if I remember correctly, Andrew was actually autopsied on the table in the dining room. It's not the same table, but he was autopsied on the table. They were autopsied in the house.
Yeah.
And then their heads were actually severed and preserved in the museum. So, yeah, you got to know and I believe that there's definitely something with the land there, because Borden family, what was it? The cousin, I can't remember who it was. Yeah, I wrote like 4 papers on Lizzie Borden. My first one was done in 5th grade. And my mom's nickname was Lizzie. And so for fun, like in the 80s and 90s, you could go to the state fair and you could fill out the forms for snail mail, not email. Yeah. And everybody would put down Lizzie Borden for my mom's name. So that way she would be bombarded with a bunch of junk mail for like the next 6 months just to piss my mom off. It was great. We got some really good coupons though. So, and freebies. But,
from what I know, they don't really have that much activity in the Lizzie Borden house with Lizzie Borden. It's the other house that, what's the other house called?
It's the mansion. When Lizzie was acquitted.
The what?
The Mabel house.
Mabel house.
Or Mabel.
Yeah, it's the
Mabel
mansion. House. Yeah, because her and her sister bought a mansion when she was acquitted.
Yeah.
And the mansion is where, and it's a private residence, but that is where Lizzie is said to have been located, through paranormal investigating.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was the aunt. Yeah, she actually I believe it was 3 children that she threw in the well. Actually, one of the children lived. One of the children did survive. It was horrific what they survived though. But she killed herself, tried to kill 3 of the kids. One of the kids survived, if I remember correctly. I want to say one of them survived. But it was pretty messed up. And there's a lot of myth and legend and lore that goes around about it. And, Lizzie was supposedly having an affair with the local doctor for medicine. And yeah, just there's a lot of stuff to it. And hey, Jackie. So Jackie is actually the other woman that you heard in the video when we were at Hinsdale.
Okay.
So Love Jackie. But yeah, so I got to go there and spend $30. I mean, it was worth it for me.
I would 100% pay $30 to go walk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually dedicated that day to my mom. My mom, she passed away from cancer in 2005. So,
Sorry.
and going to the Lizzie Borden house was always on my mom's bucket list. So, me getting the chance to go there, I won't lie, I cried.
Yeah.
I dedicated that day to my mom. And I think I even signed the guest book with my mom's name too, if I remember correctly. So that day was just, it was such an emotional day. Oh, you are so welcome. Hey, Jeannie. So I'm so happy for you guys. They just hit, I believe they just hit 1,000 today. So on TikTok, so that's
Congratulations.
exciting. Now they can like do all the live streaming and stuff. I'm so excited for them.
Yeah,
But
awesome.
yeah, so they so yeah, when I was there, you know, I of course took my pictures in threes. I've got pictures of Lizzie Borden's house coming out the wazoo today. But when we got down to the basement, we actually started getting paranormal activity in the basement. The lights started dimming, turned off, came back on at a dim, went bright, turned off completely, dim, came back on at a dim. And like we're standing there and we're talking, like we're looking at a tour guide and we're like, is this supposed to be happening? And she's like, no. And then like I kept seeing a cat out of the corner of my eye, and like a couple other people did too. And I'm like, where's the cat from? And it's a cat that had passed away that actually her and her husband had rescued, and it was like the Borden cat. And yeah, and so many people that stay there now report seeing the Borden cat. And you know, actually Chris, who, you know, I do remotely paranormal with, he actually did an East Coast trip with our mutual friend Boston. Boston is who does a lot of the horror road trip stuff with him. And he was with Boston, and the Lizzie Borden house is actually where he had his first paranormal experience. So he actually, like, the Borden house is very near and dear to his heart too. But it's definitely a place I would love to get back to, but the rates to like to even just rent it out for an overnight, like if you were to take the whole thing, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
So
They I don't know if you've ever heard of the Tampa Theater. I don't know if you're familiar with anything in Florida, but it's like $350 an hour to investigate. Yeah, so I understand about big prices.
an hour.
Hour. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, like I know all the rich people retire in Florida, but are all the rich people paranormal? Like, are all the old people like investigating? Like, what?
No. I wear my ghost shirts and I look like look like I'm crazy every day.
Hold on. So, an 8-hour investigation. That's $2,800 freaking dollars. Sorry, didn't mean to scream.
Yep. I can send you the link that they showed me. Or they
No, I'm good. I don't need that link because I ain't ever going to use it. No offense, but no. No, what?
It's an old theater that's like the 1900s. Walt Disney used to go there. It's a beautiful theater, and it's like very haunted, but not for that price. St. Augustine is like that too. Worth it. Yeah, I tried to investigate and find out how much it was to investigate the jail at St. Augustine, and all they do is group investigations. And I was like, can I just buy all the tickets and just go in myself? Or they're like, no, I don't know.
Wow.
They seem too fond of that. But we have, do you feel locations that change high fees to investigate.
No, I would call that being greedy.
Yeah.
Because okay, I'll look at it this way. I have a lot of location owners that I consider family. And I've got a business degree. I understand running a business. I understand that you've got overhead. You're going to have liability insurance. You're going to have property insurance.
Yeah.
You're going to have the utilities. You're going to have electric. You're going to have gas. You have water, sewage, trash.
Yeah.
Your mortgage payment, if you have one. I understand you got to make ends meet. I get that. Plus, if you're restoring the location, reservation, if you're trying to preserve it back to its original state, if you're able to, I understand that. I mean, some places, the light bulbs alone for the type of fixtures, if you got to buy 10 of them, that can be like $2,800. I get that. I understand that it's going to be a higher fee.
Right.
But when you're charging $350 an hour,
it's crazy.
I think that is called selfish. And
I looked at that price and I was like, all right, well, what's the next place we can go to?
Right. Now, do I think that means that it's more haunted? Hell no. No. Yeah. A price should have no bearing on the type of activity. The type of activity should have no bearing on the price. Right. You can go to Hinsdale and I believe it's $350 for up to 5 or 6 people.
Yeah.
And you're going to get all kinds of shit there.
Yeah.
They've got Sasquatch. They've got all kinds of UFO sightings. They've got skinwalkers. I know I heard something that I can't explain. And when I was there for Remotely Paranormal, I saw something that to this day, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around, that I don't understand, that makes me really wonder about if we think about something enough and if we talk about something enough, is it really possible to manifest things? I'm a big believer in manifesting, and with what I saw at Hinsdale made me believe it even more. Adam was on my live when I was at Hinsdale. He saw how shook up I was. Jackie, actually, she does a lot of working with Hinsdale herself, so she knows how insane Hinsdale is. There's even a picture of a pukwudgie that was caught in the trees up by the chicken tree. You don't need to be charging $350 a damn hour. I think that is ridiculous. I think that is selfish. You're doing nothing but shooting yourself in the foot. You're making it difficult for the community that is what could be making you have a name out there.
That's
not how to run a business.
When we get off of this, look it up, like on Google. Just look at the pictures. Like, it's an old, like, Italian village around the stage, and it's got the big old organ pipes behind it. It's beautiful. It's actually where Walt Disney got the idea to do Pirates of the Caribbean at Walt Disney from the theater.
Yeah, I love historic locations, and I want to help bring attention to historic locations.
Yeah.
But how can
you
expect if you're charging $350 an hour like that?
That's impossible. Like, even if you're not guaranteed to go in there to find something that
it can take an hour just to unpack and get set up.
Yeah.
And figure out the game plan and make sure everybody's had their potty break and they've got their water bottles or their energy drinks, and what equipment are we running with first, and what room are we starting in? And I'll be honest, I understand that there's locations that have to charge more. I get that. And especially if they're larger locations where the bills are going to be more. I can understand that. But when you're charging that much an hour, you don't want people to come investigate you.
No. I don't think
there's
that
a purpose, there's a reason why you're charging that much, and you're trying to keep people from walking through your door. And
Yeah.
you're probably going to be successful at keeping people from walking through your door, unless they're YouTubers who have money, and you know what? They don't care what type of clickbait, and you know they're probably going to throw demon into the title. And I hope you're okay with knowing you've got 6 demons in your attic that they wrestled.
Yeah. Yep.
And they
Unfortunately.
just turned around and made probably 2K off of their video.
Yeah.
You know? So
That's the craziest one I found here in Florida. That's the most expensive.
and to think we bitch about places being $1,800 a night.
Yeah. That's still crazy.
I mean, yeah, it is. And I figured $2,800, that was just for an 8-hour. Let me pull my calculator back up. I think that was just for 8 hours that I did that for. 350 times 8. So if you get there, you start your investigation at 8, and you got to be out the door at 4 o'clock in the morning. Hope you enjoy that $2,800.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, this is where I can sit and plug my event that I've got going on in May. Hey guys, for $55, you can come investigate for 12 hours with me and Brooke, the owner of Wildwood Sanitarium, at the haunted Olive Hill High School in Olive Hill, Kentucky. $55. $55, $2,800. 8 hours, 12 hours. Take your pick.
Yeah. If we're going off investigations that we're doing, I'm gonna play a little video for you. This is our next major investigation. Here you go. So our next investigation is at the Arcadia Opera House.
Nice.
Yes.
Opera houses are so much fun.
This will be my very first theater.
I love theaters.
I'm
They're fun.
so excited. But we have 4 comments. Oh, which one? 55 I'd take. Yeah. 2.
And you get a free t-shirt, pizza, and drinks, guys.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like when you're charging that much money, you got to think that's when that's when people are going to be faking their evidence. And that's not cool. You're a demon. I think everybody's mom at some point called their kids a demon.
Yes.
Mine still does.
Mine still does. But I'm going to play this video real quick. We still have 3 videos to do. We keep getting off topic a little bit, but I love the conversation.
Sorry. Okay.
No, you're fine. I love the like I said, I love it. Unfortunately, Sarah had to leave. She's having back problems all day long, and sitting is not her thing right now. So
Yeah, sorry, I'm
she's still here. I promise. She's still listening.
I'm still here. I'm just in pain.
Well, I'm going to play this video for you real quick.
Okay.
So if you're on all of our social medias, go hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. All the interviews that we do on here, I take the audio and I put them on Spotify. So if you're listening to this on Spotify right now and you want to see all the pictures of what we're talking about, go over to YouTube and hit that like and subscribe. We're at 161 subscribers on YouTube right now.
That's
So
awesome.
we're getting there. So Adam says, I'm sorry, Sarah. It's okay. We had a really crappy bed, and we just got a tax return and got a brand new bed. So
I'm enjoying the new
I'm
bed.
so excited to go to bed tonight.
I'm over here enjoying the new bed. So it's not a complete loss.
Make that 162
Thank you.
for the followed on you. Nice.
Hey, Jimmy. I see you up there.
So let's play the 3 videos and then we'll chat about them after.
All right.
They say Brie needs her own show. Cinematic masterpiece. Get it, girl.
Let me say how much I love Bad Omens. Just throw that out there. I love Bad Omens. Me and Sarah listen to them all the time.
Jimmy, that's what you can expect coming up this weekend, okay?
But like that goes to like back to what I was trying to say. Like you have to have fun. Like you can't just sit there and be in one focus the whole time.
Yeah.
At least I can. I have ADD. There's just no way I could focus on one thing. Just that one. I don't know. ADD sucks sometimes. Oh, there we go. We
Time
should
for American Idol. Yeah.
Haunted Idol. There you go.
Haunted Isle.
A haunted.
Yeah, I actually busted when I did the stair hop.
Yeah.
And I hopped. And let me tell you, those stairs are literally like this wide. So that's why if you saw me look down, I look up and I look down again. And when I look back up, I'm like, if I miss this stair,
You're just gonna tumble down the stairs.
we're gonna have to call an ambulance, and there's probably a 3-hour wait time, and this is gonna suck.
Oh wow. And the funny part is to tell them what happened.
Yeah. So what happened exactly? Well, you see what happened. You know it's gonna be a good story. You know
Oh,
what
yeah.
had happened was
Yeah.
she was
And
trying to
even
raise
the
the vibe.
paramedics would come and show up at this house and be like, God damn it, I hate this house.
Oh yeah.
Somebody else in here acting like an idiot. Oh,
Yeah,
good.
we had fun. It was a blast. We had fun doing that.
Is
But
that
Nick has told me I'm not allowed to slide on my knees anymore because I busted my knee so bad at Olive Hill, which was the weekend after I got back from everything.
yeah.
I busted I busted my right knee at Hinsdale. I busted my right knee at Wildwood the following night. And when I was at Olive Hill and I slid to Bad Omens, I busted my knee back open again so bad. I literally had like blood like gushing down my knee. And Nick was like there's no more sliding on your knees. You're an adult. No
Yeah.
more running around like a little kid. You can dance a little bit, but like
Yeah.
it's time to act your age. I'm like, I don't want to act my age. But can I just get knee pads? Like,
There you go.
let me just have knee pads, you know. I even had somebody offer to make me knee pads with like little wheelies on them so I could slide across the floor. So
Like a little freaking, like a 4-wheeler roller skate thing.
yeah, like where I could just slide and like just hold my feet and just go, I guess. I don't know. But they were joking with me about it. Just followed you under awesome.
Oh, thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll
yeah.
actually be with Jimmy and his paranormal group. Actually, he's doing a collab this weekend at Whispers Estates, and I got invited to tag along. So I'll be there with his group Vipers, and then RIP Indiana, which is led by
Nice.
Brittany Isley. So we'll be at Whispers on Saturday. So I've never been there. I'm really excited to go. So
Yeah, I'm 52 and a half.
hey, we gotta act our. You know what? We gotta let our inner child come out. What?
Oh, Sarah can tell you all the time
Yeah.
I don't have my age ever.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can be serious during an investigation, but
Right.
when sometimes you gotta have fun. You gotta, because we gotta remember that the spirits were people at some point. You know, like they were alive,
Right.
and I imagine that they liked having fun, and they they danced and they giggled and they laughed, and
Right.
I mean, even if they were always supposed to be prim and proper, that they were still having fun at some point
Oh,
behind those doors. So
in their home with all their people, yeah.
yeah, like you said, I mean, the spirits, they loved it. I mean, like we had lights going off, we had equipment going off. I mean, it was insane. The level, I mean, you could literally feel the vibration rise. Like you could feel the energy change.
Yeah.
And like when they changed this, like I told you before, when they changed the song on my phone to Red Hot Chili Peppers, it like it went through the roof. Like you could tell that the spirits were jumping around. You could feel that they were having a party.
Yeah.
It was insane.
That's crazy. I want to dance now. I feel we get more interactive.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. When you're not paying attention, that's when they come out the most. I feel like when you're just sitting there, not paying attention, just sitting there in a room by yourself, I feel like they're more curious of why you're just sitting there.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, dude? Why are you just sitting in the room in the dark?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, what's crazy, SD Paranormal, is that they actually changed it to that song. Like Jackie can tell you, all I did was pick my phone up to change the song, and as I'm picking my phone up, the song changed to Red Hot Chili Peppers.
That's
like
crazy.
It was nuts.
But let's get into this.
Oh, you got more videos. I'll be honest, I don't remember what videos because I went through and I was just selecting videos. So
I could see your face when I started.
I was like, oh my god, I forgot I sent that one. Like, oops.
All right, here's another video for you guys.
Or sorry, Sunday.
Where do you want this?
Wherever you want it. Here's my phone.
That's the
Okay. I'm gonna put it back in its case. Sorry guys, blocking the view.
What is this?
How Jackie move her ass.
You just push this button?
Yeah. There he is.
Hey, sit down.
You're fine. I'll sit with
Okay, not gonna lie, the dog just made me jump.
What do you see?
What's up?
He wants to know. Hey. Hey.
Whoa.
Look, see?
Whoa. Whoa.
What
told
the
you.
fuck?
I need a timestamp. 3 hours, 1 minute.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Enzo's here, you guys. Son of a bitch.
This is some crazy shit.
Dude.
Why is the music box not going off, though? Thank you.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That video has already had people making real or fake videos of that.
Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. I'm waiting for my cats to jump up. I've been watching them behind me.
He's very angry right now.
No, you're fine. Yeah, no, that's the video I told you about. That was the 36-foot. There's my cat. That was the 36-foot tripwire that blew out the doll that went off by itself. And you hear me question, why is the music box not going off? And it dawned on me the next day where he had put the music box. It's actually a checkered board that has about an inch lip that goes around it.
Right.
So it was blocking the sensor.
Oh.
So if he had put that probably on the floor instead, that probably would have gone off as well, I bet. Especially because it started with the doll, like it touched the doll, set the doll off.
Yeah.
And then it was like, it just, like I said, it was like Hiroshima. You see how that tripwire just goes out.
Yeah.
Like it's not just one or two, it goes down the line. It's like one or two flicker, then the whole thing goes red.
I kind of want to watch it again.
Oh yeah, if you want, yeah, it's a great video. I've got like 3 or 4 other clips from that night. It's insane.
Or sorry, Sunday.
Where do you want this?
Wherever you want it. Here's my phone.
I'll put it right there.
Okay. I'm gonna put it back in its case. Sorry guys, blocking the view.
What is this?
How Jackie move her ass.
You just push this button?
Yeah. There we
Hey,
go.
sit down.
You're fine. I'll sit with
Okay, not gonna lie, the dog just made me jump.
you. What do you see?
What's up?
He wants something new. Hey. Hey.
Whoa.
Look, see?
Whoa. Whoa.
What
told
the
you.
fuck?
I need a timestamp. 3 hours, 1 minute. Oh!
Okay.
Enzo's here, you guys. Son of a bitch.
This is some crazy shit.
Dude. I've
Why
never
is the
seen-
music box not going off, though? Thank you.
Oh my god.
I want that doll.
I do too.
That's
And then you can get the
so creepy looking. It's awesome.
yeah, I want that doll. Yeah, that
Wait.
night was insane. I've got videos I haven't posted yet. I've been sitting on because I have gotten a little bit of backlash from people about that video. And so I've really been debating on whether or not I drop my other videos that I have. The other person that was with us has an IR light on their rig. And their IR light starts flickering. And Jackie's in the chat. She can tell you it actually started flickering in direct responses to our questions. I actually get up at one point, and like Jackie at one point is sitting behind it, and she sticks her hands out like this. So you can, and I turn my camera so you can see that it's not her touching anything. And the lights start flickering. She gets up and she walks away. It continues to flicker in direct responses to the questions. I get up and somebody's like, the battery must be dying. So I get up and I show on my camera to the TikTok live that the battery is at 100%. Not only is that 100%, it's actually plugged into a battery pack.
Wow.
So it shouldn't. And while I'm standing there showing the audience, the viewers, that the battery's at 100%, it starts flickering again.
Wow.
Yeah. Like we start asking, do you want us to play music again? The light flickered. Do you want us to go get our speaker? The light flickered. Do you want us to dance up here like we were dancing downstairs? The light starts to flicker.
Wow. Which I think is crazy because the dog interacted before all that.
Yeah,
happened.
the dog alerted right before all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was all right after Jackie and Brooke and I were downstairs doing what? The Cupid Shuffle.
Yeah.
So
So they were coming. Do you feel like they were like, yo, dude, let's party still? Like, what's
yeah,
up?
and I mean that's when we started asking, do you want music? The light flickered the light flickered directly right after we asked that question. Like, yeah. Do we need to go get the speaker? The light flickered. Do you want us to dance up here? The light starts to flicker. We're like, okay. And then the doll keeps going off.
Yeah.
And nobody's around the doll. So yeah, it was insane. Like you see videos like that on like Paranormal Caught on Camera, and you're just like, does that stuff really happen? And then you see it in person and you're like, yeah, that really can happen. That really does happen. Holy shit.
Well,
Like
I would have the same interaction, like 100%. Like, what is going on right now? That is all right.
yeah, and it was like it started doing that, and then it started kind of going downhill. Like the guy who was with us, Like you could tell that they were negatively affecting him. Like he started slurring his speech. He started looking like he was drunk. And like, you know, Jackie and I are sitting there and we're like, you need to go, like GTFO right now. You've got to get out of this room. You need to go outside. You need to go ground yourself. Get out of this house.
Yeah.
You know, whatever has come through, it's attacking you right now.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't like you. You got to go. You got to go clear yourself right now.
Yeah. They actually the last investigation at the undisclosed jail, we actually had the same thing happen to another, and she wasn't even investigating. She was just there. She was the owners. Well, not. She owns. They both own the jail. They were both the owners, but she wasn't. She was hanging out while we were investigating, and stuff started messing with her. Like the whole time that she's owned the jail, that's never happened until
Wow.
I was upstairs doing the Delco experiment. I don't know if you know what the Delco experiment is. Are you familiar with that?
Mm,
So it's
I've heard of it. I'm
it's-
trying to remember.
it's basically the Ganza experiment with the ping pong balls and the flashing light.
And isn't that mixed with the Estes?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Mike Delco, I'm gonna
Yeah,
butcher your
Delco.
last name right now. I'm sorry, Mike.
Delco.
But he created the same thing, but they're like goggles that you go over and it has 3 modes, but it's a flashing red light that you're supposed to see stuff out of the goggles.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I did do that once. That was freaky.
Yeah, so I was upstairs in like the most haunted part of the jail, and while I was doing the Delco Estes method downstairs, that's when it started affecting her. Sarah was downstairs, and she said that she just got up and went to a cell that she never goes to. She doesn't even like that cell, and like came back and like stumbling around, and yeah, that was a crazy night. I'm not gonna get into it because that was more of a personal thing.
That's nights like those are nights for the book. Like that's where you're just like, crap, do I share this with others? And then you want to share it because you got amazing evidence
Yeah.
to show that it's not just stuff that's in movies. Like this shit really does happen.
No, for
But
sure.
then, like I said, I've already got people that have made real or fake reels about that. You know, do you think it's real or fake? Do you think that she, you know, do you think that this? And I'm like, this was done on TikTok Live.
Yeah.
You're watching us set the equipment up.
Yeah.
You're watching us walk into the room, putting our equipment down. None of this is faked.
Right. Yeah, I was
I
live.
understand if it was a TV show and you want to question it, but when this is clipped directly off my TikTok Live,
Yeah.
I mean, people are always going to question the stuff that you think is only in the movies, the
Right.
stuff that you think doesn't happen, it shouldn't happen. And then when somebody actually captures the evidence of it happening, yeah, it's easy to question.
Right.
And I think one of the other videos I sent you is another good example of where, yeah, it's another one where I'm getting a lot of people are questioning it too. And I'm like, but you had to be there.
Well,
I think it is.
my whole thing is of like controversy and like you say this. Like I don't know if you watch Project Fear with Dakota, the Destination Fear guys.
Not anymore.
I was gonna mention the Cody Satori type situation going on right now, but
Yeah, I know.
How do you feel about that?
I have met Cody and Satori. I met them for 5 minutes. They seem like extremely nice people. I have not seen what they do in person.
Got you.
I think that it is something that I would need to see firsthand.
Right.
Not on the video. I would need to see for myself because a lot of the probabilities that have been brought of what could be going on are valid probabilities. of what could be happening. And I think it's one that I don't understand it enough to put my 2 cents in on it.
Right. That's how I
Um,
feel too.
I think it's such a red hot topic right now, and it's such a point of controversy. You're either for it or you're against it, it seems.
Right.
And I don't understand why we have to be for or against. It's something that I feel that you can not understand and take the stance of being honest and saying, I don't understand what's going on, and I don't feel I can make a yes or no decision
Right.
because that's not fair to them. And it's not fair to myself when I don't understand. People have brought up, well, he could be, it's easy to pop your ankle. It's easy to pop your toes. It's easy to have a device in your sock. And I know that when they were with Sam and Colby, they took them out of a controlled environment. And I don't know. I try to avoid talking about this because I'll be honest, I haven't even really paid much attention to it because it's so sensationalized right now.
Yeah.
And I think that there's other things going on in our world that need our attention more than whether or not Cody is popping his ankle or his big toe.
No, I completely agree.
So
I want to get your take on that.
I have better things in my life to worry about than that. And I think it's sad that a lot of people in the community have decided to make this a turn or, to make this a make or break.
Right.
And have decided to attack people. And
I feel like us being investigators, we have to push those limits. We have to do something different than what everybody else is doing. I just feel like people don't understand it and they're taking their own take on it. Why? Like, this is paranormal. Nobody knows what we're doing. Like, we have professionals, they have all that, but nothing's guaranteed to work.
Right.
Nothing's guaranteed to happen. Like, and
we're going to have stuff happen that we, even as investigators, no matter how seasoned we are, we're not going to be able to understand.
Yeah.
And even if we're in the room when it happens right before our very eyes, we're not going to understand it.
Right.
So I understand when videos get released, people sitting there saying, I don't believe it. I think this is bullshit. I get it. But honestly, this is also where, as paranormal investigators, are we not supposed to be thinking outside of the box? Is that not why we do what we do?
Exactly.
And I think that once you start calling bullshit on stuff, I mean, unless you see a fishing wire, unless you see blatant splicing on videos with editing,
right?
Somebody saying that they're solo and you're watching somebody walk around behind them, because I've seen that.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off because I legitimately do solos. And I feel like you having somebody with you and saying that you're solo when you're not, it downplays what I'm going out there and I'm doing.
Right.
I
feel like when I leave an investigation, I have more answers than when I went into the investigation.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I feel like I have more. I want to just go right back in and ask more questions.
Oh yeah, and I mean, Wildwood. I hope that video pushes more people to go to Wildwood. It is such a hidden gem. There is so many layers of history there, and there's what happened there. Will it happen again? I don't know. I do know that doll has been known to go off, but I've never heard of somebody having the type of experience in that room that we had that night.
Right.
And I hope that it happens again. I want other people to experience that. Whatever. And I know what I feel like I know what showed up in that room that night. I hope something else can do it again.
Yeah. Hopefully nobody gets hurt though.
Right. Yeah, and nobody was hurt in the filming of the TikTok. The dog was fine. The
Yeah.
dog just alerted. I had somebody ask me, "Did you hurt the dog? Did you kick the dog?" And I was like, "What?"
Wow.
No, you see the dog running. The dog is picking up on something. Duh.
Yeah.
You
The
know.
dogs are more sensitive than we are to paranormal.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
watch your pets, people. Watch your pets. If you want to know if you brought something home with you from an investigation and you got pets, watch your pets for the next 72 hours.
Yeah.
Your animals are going to tell you if you got a visitor with you or not.
Is they're going to alert there's somebody in the house that's not supposed to be in the house?
Oh yeah.
Why are you staring at that corner for 5 minutes? What are you doing?
Right. Yeah. Why? I mean, and a dog, you'll see the fur on their back. They might not even growl. Their fur will stand up before they growl.
Yeah.
They will alert.
Yeah.
And I will tell people all the time, pay attention to your pets. I kind of feel like our pets are a little desensitized because we do live in a house with haunted objects and we do have spirits here. And we are kind of like, from how Nick described it, we're on a paranormal highway. So we have spirits that just come in to say hi, spirits that come in for vacation and stay for a couple of days. It's like an Airbnb for spirits.
Nice.
I just ask that they make the bed when they leave.
Yeah. That's not bad. All right, we got one more video, then we'll get to a question of the week.
Leave it off and you guys just... What was that? Tell me you guys saw that. What was that? That was so cool.
Okay.
Okay,
So
I missed something.
all right. So the very top arrow, it actually is 4 flashes. I saw it with my eyes. That was during my solo after I did remotely paranormal at Hinsdale.
Okay.
I'm in the living room. I'm getting ready to go to bed. Now I've got a laser grid set up, but the laser grid is only going so far up the wall. I've got trip lights. I've got a REM pod. Yeah, they are used to it, Adam. I've even got a little mini Boo Bear. And I saw that with my bare eyes. So good night, Jackie. Love you.
Thank you for watching. I appreciate it.
I was watching it with I saw it with my bare eyes. And if anybody has seen the Wizard of Oz, the original Wizard of Oz, where Glinda, the Good Witch, comes in the bubble.
Yeah.
It looks like it literally looks like somebody has blown bubbles. But you see the bubble disappears. The bubble reappears a little bit brighter, it disappears. The bubble reappears even brighter, it disappears. And then it comes back beautiful and it disappears.
Oh.
Now, when it first starts, it goes like in a sideways U and it starts above the grid and it's a quick little flash. You'll see another quick little flash down here and then another quick little flash here. Now, at the very end, you're going to see, and I'm not an orb person. I will tell you straight up. I didn't even notice this until I was reviewing this footage because I was going back specifically for those.
Right.
Because I saw it with my bare eye. I look at my phone and you hear me and I'm like, did anybody see this? The chat lights up. Everybody is like, we saw this. What the hell was that? Oh my God. What was that? Like everybody's trying to figure out what it was they just saw. And I'm like, I don't know what you guys, I don't know. Like it blew my mind. It was amazing. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. I didn't know how to describe it. I took the video and I even sent that to Dan, the owner of Hinsdale. Right. And I was like, I don't know how to describe this, but it's beautiful. And it's mind blowing. But at the very end of the video, if you look at the floor, you're going to be looking at the floor and like you've got what you can see is the corner of the love seat here. Now I'm laying on the couch here with my camera right here. On the floor, you're going to see it. You can see right through it. It's a little orb, but it goes from the corner of the love seat straight across the floor, straight line to me.
Wow.
And I didn't even notice it. So if it's dust, it's not going to go in a straight line.
No.
It's not a bug because you can see through it. And if it was one of the flies, it definitely wouldn't be flying that low to the floor. It would have an erratic flight pattern.
Right.
I was automatically able to say not a bug. It's very faint. It's hard to see. It goes kind of quick, but it's on the floor and it's right at the very end of the video. But if you play that video again, you're going to actually see that there's a total of 4 flashes. They go really quick. It starts high up, then right next to it, then another one, and then another one. But it's basically a sideways view. I'm getting a lot of flack right now. I actually had a big name debunker come at me about this video. And he is swearing up and down that is nothing but dust reflecting off the grid. And I said, okay, first off, if it's dust, why is this not a reoccurring issue that I'm seeing? Because if it's dust, would I not see more reflections off of the dust in the home with the grid light? I've been in this house at that point. That was the 3rd time I've been in this home. I'd never seen that before in the home with dust. Second, I'm the only person in the home. There's nobody else moving around. Now, I'd been laying on that couch for a few minutes. I'd been laying on that couch long enough that the dust should have settled. I had not been in that area for a while. The equipment in that area had been set up for at least a good 10 to 15 minutes. So there shouldn't be a lot of
settle again.
Yeah, the dust at that point should have settled. Hypothetically, it should have settled.
Right.
But the first, but this is what gets me. I saw it with my eyes, and it looked like it literally looked like bubbles. It looked like a bubble, like just it was very faint, went away, came back. It was a little bit brighter, went away, comes back. It's a little bit brighter, goes away. And then the 4th one is really bright. So if you play it again, pay attention. You'll see it starts up and it goes in a sideways U. And there's a total of 4.
Let's play that again.
Leave it off and you guys just... What was that? Tell me you guys saw that. What was that? That was so cool.
No, I saw it all. Now that I even saw the one on the ground.
Yeah. So there's
that's dust.
Yeah, the one on the ground is definitely not dust. The way that moves in a straight trajectory.
Yeah.
I don't believe that's dust at all. I believe I was watching what was a spirit trying the attempt to manifest.
Yeah.
So, but did you see the 4 flash? Like, it's real quick, but there is an actual total of 4 flashes.
Yeah. Which is crazy too, because I went from here to there to there.
Yeah.
It's
almost like a sideways U. Yeah.
If it was dust, was there like did you have an IR light going that way or anything?
I think at that point, well, I had an IR on. I think I did have my IR on at the same time, and I had a green laser grid going. But if it was
dust light up.
Right, but if it was dust, you would still see more dust.
Yeah.
You would see that be a continuous throughout the whole video, I would think.
Yeah.
Because you're not just going to have a freak occurrence of 4 flashes of dust. No. I would think that it would be more than 4 flashes.
Well, that's the dust I've never seen before.
Yeah. But I'm getting a lot of flack for that video. It's actually some debunkers have put it up. I'm taking a lot of hits on it, but you know what? All you're doing, baby, is getting my name out there.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoy the way my name rolls off your tongue.
Right. And
know?
free publicity.
Exactly.
I was having a harder time seeing the other flashlights, but I saw the first orb. I can play it for you again, Amber. I want to watch it again. And then we'll get to the question of the week.
Leave it off and you guys just... What was that? Tell me you guys saw that. What was that? That was so cool.
Now, watching that again, was that could that be a reflection off that mirror?
I don't think so because of where the mirror was.
Yeah.
And I didn't have anything. You can see everything behind me. There's nothing behind me
That's
that
a
would have
pretty
reflected.
tall. That's a pretty tall chair, and like above everything was above that chair.
Yeah.
That's
And everything that's behind me, if it was something reflecting, light would be having to come like that. Where all the light that I have is in front of,
right.
you know, so
Right.
there's nothing that was in front of to reflect off of.
Right. Then if it was reflecting or anything, it'd be reflecting into the mirror.
Yeah. And you
like
can see that I'm not moving around.
Yeah, laser grids don't move. Like
Yeah.
unless,
Everything is stationary.
Yeah.
I'm in one solid position. I'm not moving around. I'm actually getting ready to go to bed.
yeah.
So, yeah, that was, like I said, Hinsdale. That's Hinsdale, you guys. Hinsdale will give you something amazing and different every single time.
Yeah, that's just me being an investigator trying to debunk it myself.
Oh yeah, I trust me. Because as I'm sitting there, I'm like,
yeah. Yep.
and I remember sitting there talking to the viewers, and like we're going over everything that it could possibly. And I'm like, and so I start asking timestamp. And what I do is when I'm on TikTok live, I give them like, because you can go and see where you're at in your live hour and minute wise. So I gave them my hour minute. Somebody messaged it to me, and I'm a big person on debunking. Like the following night, I was at Niagara Western Block, and I'm actually in the middle of doing one of the tasks, the challenges that Chris gives me, and I'm actually in an art gallery. And I'm trying to do it, but I start hearing all this noise coming from a big open room that's behind me. I can't concentrate on what I'm like, Chris, I'm sorry. I have got to go figure this out. I walk in there and I'm hearing like something's hitting the table. People are starting to think, like, people are actually commenting on the video. They're like, we think this table's going to go flying at Brie, you know? And I'm like, crap. So I walk over to the table, and I'm looking, and these ceilings are about, anywhere from 10 to 15, maybe 20 feet high. They're huge ceilings. It used to be a warehouse type deal. And I'm looking at the table, and I realize the table's wet. So then I start really looking at the ceiling. I get my flashlight out, and sure as shit, there's a tiny little crack at the very top that little small drops of water are coming through. And then because of the height of the ceiling, when it finally hits the table, it sounds like somebody is hitting it sounds like somebody is literally hitting the table with a fist, you know. And I'm a big person. I will triple check, I don't always like saying that's not me. Now there's some pieces of equipment, because I know how my equipment works, I will be like, I know I'm too far away. That is not me, you guys. And if somebody says, is it your phone? I'll walk up, I'll grab my rig, and I will walk up to that piece of equipment until that piece of equipment starts going off. And I'm like, no, now this is my phone.
Right.
So now you see how close I have to be.
Right.
I'm 10, 15 feet away. It's not my phone.
Right.
You know,
that's like the calls when we were doing the investigation with our Elizabeth doll. We were saying a good 5 feet away, not even, and it's sitting on the doll's sitting on the same table I'm sitting at right now, and we're halfway across the room, and the light bulb went off like 6 times.
Mm.
It's not us. Like, I don't have a little remote control to make this light go off. I don't.
Wow.
That's the one thing that she loves to do, and like, she loves using cat balls. Like, when we got her, that's what we were told. Like, she doesn't like using anything else. She likes using cat balls, and she'll communicate with you. And every time that we've tried to film it, it never happens. Like, and
They know. I fully am convinced that there's some spirits know.
oh, absolutely.
And I think that there's some out there that I think they find it disrespectful and they won't do anything on camera. Because I've been in actual theaters, like opera theaters, like you're getting ready to go to,
Yeah.
where I had to hide my phone in my hand and then just have like my fingers like this so the camera
Yeah.
can see. And that was the only way I was able to get photographic proof of the direct responses I was getting on equipment from the spirit I was talking to.
Right.
They were like, nope, it's just, they even said, I don't like cameras. We didn't have cameras. I don't like them. Get it out. They were basically like, it was coming through like, I think necrophonic, get it out of my face. Like they were pissed.
Yeah. And like, just to get a response from her, because when we record her and we would shut it off, we have 2 cat balls on either side of her. I literally watched, like, you use cat balls. You know how they work.
Yeah.
I literally watched the cat ball move like 2 feet or 2 inches and then light up. Like,
wow.
I watched the ball move and then it lit up. I was like, oh, that never happens. And then we finally got it to happen on live. So
that's awesome. Yeah, sometimes I think spirits also, like, you got to think, depending on the time that they're from, they might not have had that type, they might not have had cameras. So they might not. And then there's also, depending on where you were at, excuse me, certain people believed that it could steal your soul. So, is that maybe, is a spirit here, and could they be upset thinking I'm here because somebody took my picture and now you're trying to take my picture again?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's something that I think could be.
That's the number one rule for the Amish. That the Amish believe that. If
Yeah.
you take a picture of them, it steals their soul.
Right.
And
So, I mean, I think that there's that should be, I think that is something that could be pursued depending on where you're at.
right.
Like investigating. I think that would be really interesting to see what type of responses you get to something like that. Yeah, Native Americans believe that as well. Yeah. So, I mean, depending on where you're at, yeah, you might, and depending on where an item comes from, if you have a haunted item,
Right.
you might not get the action on camera, but you might get a whole lot of it off camera. And that's where I kind of wonder, like, if you were able to like hide like the Ring cameras,
Yeah.
like the doorbell cams, like if you were able to like mask them somehow in your room or like the room that you have her in, like would you be able to maybe get like a nanny cam that's like hidden in a teddy bear?
We actually have a blink camera set up right now in my room. So if anything goes off or anything moves, it sends a thing to my phone.
Oh, that's awesome.
We've caught a couple things off of it during the investigation.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's a full IR camera. And we usually just let it run all day long. So whatever we have go off, it sends a link to my phone. But
that's amazing.
Now that we're talking about dolls, I'm not going to let everybody know what it is, but in a couple weeks, this will be our next investigation. So hopefully, from what I was told, there's only about 50 of these made. And my niece got it, and she was completely petrified of this doll. She didn't even want to take it out of the box.
Oh wow.
So I was given that doll. We have a couple dolls. I don't know exactly how we're going to do this right now. We might do one every month. Maybe we're still trying to do all this and think of how we could do this. But I want to start doing investigations and film live like we're doing now with haunted objects.
I think if you, yeah, I think that that's a great idea because I think a lot of people like watching that type of stuff. I know that there seems to be a huge market for it. There's a huge demand, and there's a lot of curiosity and a lot of questions when it comes to haunted objects.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting if it's done the right way.
Right.
I've seen some people do it, and I'll be honest, like I watched 2 or 3 minutes and it was really tacky how
Right.
they were going about the investigation and how, it was kind of like, eh. But I think it's a great idea.
Well, like the way
I
I
think
was,
there's a lot of people that are interested and are curious about stuff that can be haunted because there's a lot of questions. Can something really attach to an object?
right,
What all encompasses that?
right. Well, Sarah's an empath, and I call my friend Alice. Hi, Alice, if you're watching. Um, she remote views, so I can call her on live, and we go to like Goodwills and antique stores and all that. And like if we find something that Sarah gets a feeling off, I call Alice and I'm like, "Hey, what's up? Do you feel anything off of this?" And if I get anything, we've bought a couple dolls that way that we haven't done anything with, but they get activity off remote views. If you can get a remote view, and why can't you get anything here while we're investigating? I don't. Like I said, it's all in the works. I'm not trying to hype it up any, but
Well, no, I think it's good. And I think it's good that you're doing that, though. And I love the idea. I think that it does need to be done. I think that it's definitely something that there's a market for, that there's an audience for it. And I think that it's very interesting because there's a lot of questions that come with haunted objects. Like how does that happen? How does somebody, are they stuck inside?
Right.
Was that their favorite item? Did a witch bind them to it? A voodoo, like there's so many bunny trails. And I think that if you had the right people involved with doing it with you, that I think it would be amazing. I highly suggest it.
Yeah, like we did the little introduction. This is all on our YouTube if you want to go watch it. It's 2 hours long. The beginning of it's kind of slow, but it starts getting activity. It starts working up. You can hear us in the background, like, oh my god. But we would let her. It was like 45 minutes. We let her be here by herself in the dark, like just to get it. And every time we got activity, I was like, all right, well, collect your energy again. We'll sit here and wait for you to be able to get energy again. And we would sit there for like 20 minutes, and then we'd ask a question, and then a light bulb would go, or the cat ball would off again. Like every time.
Wow.
So I was like interacting with her, but for some reason, she wasn't interacting with me more. Like I went in here and interacted, and nothing happened. Sarah came in here, interacted, and the cat ball went off. So I don't know if there's more interaction because Sarah's here all the time talking to her and paying attention to her more than I do because I'm at work and stuff. But I don't know. She was paying attention to me more than, or she was paying attention to Sarah more than me. But I don't know.
I think there's more to your doll than what you realize.
Yeah.
From what I'm picking up, there's something there that you don't.
I can go get her real quick if you want to see her.
I would love to see her until I get off of her if you want me to.
Give me 1 second. So the backstory on this doll. So we went to the May Stringer house. It's in Brooksville, Florida. It's the most haunted doll, or most haunted house in Florida. Just with the activity. The tour guide, Docent, that she collects haunted dolls, and she had a gentleman send her this doll through the mail because they had activity. And then she started getting activity, and then we investigated the string house, and Emma gave Sarah this doll. So now we have her. This is Elizabeth. This is the one that was setting off cat balls.
Okay, like my face just hurt. Like even before you went to go get her,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we sage her, we keep her in a salt rock. Like I'll sage her now, like once we get done with this. But
Have you tried Palo Santo?
yes, I burn that religiously. Yeah, that's our number one go to. Well, other than we burn sage too, but everybody in the house doesn't really like the smell of Santo, other than me.
Well, Palo Santo is going to be like your Scotch Guard protectant.
Yeah. We sage her maybe once a week, just to keep it down, and then we keep her in a salt rock circle.
And I agree with you, B&B Paranormal. Especially if somebody has been abused.
Yeah.
By a male, they're going to be more comfortable typically with a female.
Right. And I can tell you, when we first got her, like we took her clothes off, we redid her hair, and like a lot of stuff was fine. And then we started getting like really vivid dreams. Like,
Okay,
really,
are you getting vivid dreams of a little girl being abused?
I'm not. I got a vivid dream of my grandma. Like she was there, like 100% there. Like I could see her. She was talking, and like I woke up in tears. Like I was like, my grandma was just here.
How many times have you dreamed of your grandma since then?
Since that time, none. That's the first time I've ever had a dream like that. But Sarah was getting more nightmares than dreams when we first got her, and her eyes changed from really black to like really blue. I don't know what they are now, but they look bluish. But
Don't look in her eyes.
Oh.
I definitely don't think you should be looking in her eyes.
Oh. But this
I don't think that there's anything. There's definitely there's definitely a spirit that's attached.
Yeah.
And
oh no, she was definitely interacting with us that one live. But we don't know what she wouldn't answer anything about what's in the doll or who's in the doll. We were using the alphabet, like light up a cat ball to what letter you want to use to the alphabet, and it only happened once.
I'm getting noises. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I was like, do I have a cat in here? And I don't see a cat. It sounded like a cat, so I think Louie's back.
It's all good. The only one that it lit up for was the letter E, and her name is Elizabeth. So that I don't know if that coincides or I don't know. She's a very authentic doll, though.
Yeah.
Other than that, Emma said that she had really bad dreams too, and like a lot of bad stuff was happening while she owned that doll, this doll. We haven't had anything bad happen other than dreams. It's pretty much, I just knocked my drink over. It's okay.
Okay, so yeah, I think I'm understanding what's going on here. I'll talk to you more about it later.
Okay. So to get on to it, we have a question of the week, and then we'll finish up a little bit. So, and everybody that watches this, we're going to play a video. We're going to ask a question. Leave your answers in the comments, and then we'll see what Brie thinks. So the question of the week, anybody in the comments, do you believe you can bring spirits home? What do you think, Brie?
Hell yes, and I can prove it.
Yes. I've brought spirits home.
I have one from Hinsdale that will not leave me alone since October. I actually I started as a follower and it started turning into an attachment. And when you hear me at Wildwood say Enzo is here, Enzo is also known as Ezra.
Yeah.
And they are one and the same, and they are from Hinsdale.
Wow.
And so it started off as following me. And when I was on my 3-week trip, because I started my 3-week trip off at Hinsdale. So I kicked it off with 3 days, 2 nights at Hinsdale. And then I went to the East Coast, and each day I was, it was in Adam. He's one of the people who understands. He's been along for the full ride, just about. So he knows what's going on. It's a name that we typically do not mention, but I will mention it. Other people have gotten both of those names from Hinsdale, actually, too. But he likes to come through at different locations. He doesn't always come through that much as much as he used to, but he still does. But when he first started following me, I was one to at that point in my life, my gifts were still opening up. They were just starting to blossom. So I've been one that I would have deja vu, premonition dreams. Like I don't remember my dream, but then something would trigger me to remember it. And I would remember up to a point, either the full thing or up to a certain point. But the one dream that I would always remember without fail is there would be a dream and Hinsdale would be in it. Somehow, some way, the house would show up. And I was waking up at the same time every morning without fail. And when I got home, like, Nick, his team specializes in residentials, clearings, blessings. And, so they've successfully, they've had 50 cases that they've successfully completed.
Wow.
And families that they've helped. So he understands the whole following and attachment and what to look for. And so he was keeping a close eye on me. And we ended up going to a collaboration with another team at the Bel Air house. And we were there for 3 days and 2 nights. And we went directly from Bel Air to OSR for a collaboration there. So, yeah, you want to talk about really pushing it. Well, Bel Air is a location that will mess with you mentally and emotionally and physically. Nick wanted to sleep the whole time. In fact, one of the team members from the team that invited us out, I think I only saw her awake maybe a total of 6 to 8 hours the whole time we were there because he was sleeping. For me, it made me really anxious, and I didn't know how to tell Nick that I was really anxious. So I got real clingy with Nick. Like I was constantly holding his hand. I was trying not to have panic attacks, and I didn't understand what was going on.
Right.
But he came through. We actually got video evidence. The other team, Jen was actually under Estes, and we had necrophonic, and the Estes and the necrophonic were actually validating each other. And Jen she yells at me while she's under, and she's like, Brie, where the hell is Brie? And I'm like, I'm right here. And she's like, you need to listen. and people talk. And so like I start joking around. I'm like, so I start singing like, let's give them something to talk about. And she's like, Brie, yells at me again. And I'm like, yes. And she's like, you need to join us. And I'm like,
No.
and then she's like, and then like, and this person that comes through likes to call me a whore. Like he calls all females that. And so it starts saying that on the necrophonic. And I'm like, no. And then she yells at me again, Brie, it's already done. And I'm like, we need to pull her out of Estes and let's go to bed, guys. Like we're done. Because that was freaky. And so from that moment forward, that's when the attachment started. And I actually had to go through Holy Fire Reiki session. And he was found. He was actually found hiding in my throat chakra. And it was when she found him, I actually like buckled off the table because it felt like something was strangling me. Like I could feel a hand on my throat. It was the craziest thing. And I'm telling her, I'm like, it felt like something was choking me. She's like, yeah. She goes, you lifted off the table. And I was like, yeah, like if, kind of like, when you people do the paddles and their back arches, like that's what my back did. And it was like an involuntary like spasm. And she was like, yeah, she goes, that's when I was getting him out of your throat chakra. She goes, I pulled him out and he took off running. So, everything was fine. And then we went back to Hinsdale for New Year's and little shit popped back up. And now I've got somebody else following me from Hinsdale, but he's like a protector of mine. And he actually, what's ironic is he's assumed the name of Nick. So that way the bad person that is obsessed with me doesn't know who it is.
Right.
And so I've got a protector now from Hinsdale, and then I've got somebody else from Hinsdale that is not attached anymore. Just likes to be he just likes to be a nuisance. It's annoying at this point. Like I'll be on investigations, and if somebody's got like necrophonic running, his name will come through and he'll like call me or one of the other women I'm with, a dirty name, nasty name, and then we won't hear his name again. It's like he just likes to poke at me now. Like, am I pissing you off? Oh, I'm not. You're ignoring me. Well, never mind. And he'll go away. So do I believe that things can follow you? Yes. If a spirit wants you, it will find a way to get to you. It doesn't matter if you sage yourself, if you Palo Santo yourself.
Right.
If it's able to find a way to get to you, it'll get to you. It will, but don't live in fear of that because there are ways to protect yourself still. There are ways that if they do try to follow, that you can get rid of them, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Like this, he's turned into like the fruit fly in the kitchen. It's just a pest at this point. And it's like, go away.
Yeah.
Do I live in fear of him? No. Did I at one point? I did, because I didn't really understand what was going on. Right. But now I have a better understanding, and I'm just like, you're annoying. Shut up.
Yeah.
Well, what? Like we're not here to communicate with you. We're here to communicate with the children of the school. Just go away. Right. So do I believe in it? Yeah. And my biggest thing is to tell people, don't let that scare you. If this, if you want to do an investigation, if you want to go to an event, don't live in fear, because then you're letting everything else win and you're not living your life.
Right.
Go live your life.
Oh, they'll definitely know if you go in there scared too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Then you've got a big old target on your back.
Yeah.
Don't be fearful. Go have fun. Yeah. Don't let them try to control you.
Right.
It's going to be okay.
Right.
So,
to close this out, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine.
To close this out, do you have anything that you want to promote that you got coming up?
Oh,
Facebook, events, anything?
I've got a calendar full. Are you kidding me? I think it's August. Let's see, the first Paracon that Nick and I will be at of the year is not this weekend, it's next weekend. We are going to be at the Paranormal Gathering at the Windermere in Ohio. We're actually going to be speaking at it together. And then actually in this weekend, I'll be with, you see Jimmy B. Brown in chat. I will be with him with his team Vipers and Brittany Isley's team, RIP Indiana chapter at Whispers Estate for an amazing collab investigation. I'm really looking forward to finally getting to meet these beautiful faces. We've been friends for a while, and so this is really exciting. I get to meet Jimmy and his wife, Kathy. So this is going to be really damn cool. And but yeah, we've got the paranormal gathering on, well, that's February. That doesn't help. On the 9th. And then what do we have next? Oh my gosh, we just got so much. I mean, next month in April, on the 27th of April, Nick and I are actually going to be speaking at Bump in the Night Society. They're putting on a Paracon, an event in Pittsburgh. It's Specters in the Spring, and the proceeds are going to I can't remember the name of it, but it's a nonprofit organization, and what they do is children who have parents that have been diagnosed with incurable cancer. They make one special day for these children and their parents, and so that way they can go and make memories. And so I think this is extremely important for people to attend this because of where the proceeds are going. I personally lost my mom.
Bump in the night.
Yeah, I actually
a couple months ago.
Yeah, Bump is amazing. And Bump is actually who we were with at Bel Air when everything went sideways. So, but you know, like I personally, for me, I lost my mom. It'll be 19 years in August to cancer. And, you know, I couldn't imagine losing a parent if I was younger. And I was young. I was young when I lost my mom. I was in my 20s. But I couldn't imagine being a small child losing their parent.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that this is, you know, for the most part, a lot of us are parents. Whether we've got biological children, adopted children, we've got fur babies, we're parents in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
And I think that this event is huge. I think that we all need to make an attempt to go. And if we can't, try to make a donation. You know, if you can't go, you know, get a hold of Bump in the Night and see if there's a way that you can make a donation to the foundation. I really wish, hold on, let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. And then I can give you the name of the foundation. Nope.
It's okay. I will message Philip.
Yeah.
I'll get the info for them and I'll put it on Underworld for you guys.
Oh, here it is. The proceeds go to One Day to Remember.
One Day to Remember.
So, yeah. So, you know, if you're not able to go, try to make a donation. Of course, in May on the 25th, you know, Old World Paranormal Society is hosting the event at the Haunted Olive Hill High School, which is a blue collar paranormal location that they manage. It's in Olive Hill, Kentucky. And headlining that event will be myself and Book Pritzel, who owns Wildwood Sanitarium. And it's a 12-hour investigation. It's only $55. You get a free shirt, free food, free drinks. So a lot cheaper than that $3.50 an hour, people. I mean, there's a lot coming up. I mean, next month, actually March 16th, Remotely Paranormal will be back as well. You'll see us on YouTube and Facebook. So, and that'll be March 16th. And I will be at an amazing location. I can't wait for it to be revealed. I'm really excited. And I was actually just at this location.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait. So go over to her Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, everything. You have all the social media. Go over and hang out. Get to know Brie.
Yes. Come hang out.
Definitely. Check her out on YouTube. I guess you spend more time on TikTok than YouTube, or?
I'm trying to build my YouTube. So I do StreamYard.
Okay.
Whenever I go to a brand new location, I always hit StreamYard first. That way it hits Facebook, it hits YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube is so hard to grow.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a lot of people who have been on YouTube for years losing hundreds of people really quick. And it's like, and TikTok is so fickle too.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not constantly putting content out there, you're losing people there.
Right.
But people like to report the stupidest stuff.
I know.
I mean, like I did a video with that cute little boy that's sitting in his car seat. I don't know if you saw the video, the reel I posted on Facebook where the little boy's going, bullshit, bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I posted that on TikTok, and in the first minute it was posted, it got reported. So they won't put it on the For You page.
Yeah. Some people have no time in their lives.
No, it's ridiculous. I think the video on TikTok got like not even 30 or 40 views, but on Facebook it's got over 2,000. It's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, it's so hard. It's so hard, you know.
But go check her out on all over social media. This has been an amazing interview, and I greatly appreciate you coming to hang out and talk to us.
Happy birthday too. I told you that earlier, but I'm gonna say it again. Happy birthday. I'm so happy I got to hang out with you on your birthday and talk your ear off.
I know. I'll talk like this all night long, but I have a new bed that I need to go lay on.
Yes, you need to go enjoy your new bed for your birthday. That's for sure.
I want to greatly appreciate you guys coming, and I want to officially welcome you to the Underworld family.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Hopefully, if we ever get out that way, we can collab and hang out.
Yeah, and if we're ever down south, I mean, there's been a lot of offers for locations lately, and a lot of different really cool locations across the United States. So if we're ever down in Florida, if we ever make it down that way, we'll let you guys know too. So
absolutely, we have a couple of head locations that we have in our back pocket that we can get you guys into.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little. Actually, I want to check out the comments before we go. I don't want to leave people hanging. Thank you, Adam, for the birthday. Appreciate it. Great interview. Happy birthday. Thank you, Amber. I appreciate it. All the birthday presents. All the birthdays coming now. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Great show. Thank you. It was cool. Glad to discover the Underworld. Great group. I can't even talk now. Thank you for coming to watch. Appreciate it. You gained a new follow for sure. Cool, Adam. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and they've got Jimmy and Adam have some their groups are amazing. Adam just started his group up, and that was SD Paranormal that you saw.
Okay.
So I do believe, and then Jimmy, his group is Vipers.
Okay.
And yeah, so they're amazing. It's he runs that with his wife, and they've got it's a fabulous group here out of Indiana. So, and Adam's out of Pennsylvania.
I saw that.
Yeah.
We're always looking for people to interview. So if you want to be interviewed, just like Brie was, message me on Underworld on Facebook. We're always trying to find people. We're actually booked out till May on interviews. So we have a lot of stuff coming up. We have a lot of investigations coming up. So keep your eyes open.
And Jimmy, if you're still on, I will be messaging you tomorrow. I did not forget. I've just been taking care of a few things, so apologize.
Right around State College, Penn State University. Nice. Yeah, I was in Lancaster. I probably said that wrong a million times, but I was chilling with the Amish.
Nice.
But I want to greatly appreciate it again, and I hope you have a great night.
Thank you for having me on.
No problem. All right. Have a great night.
Thanks, you too.
Cool.